All right, they can hear us, they can see us, and we're going to continue playing Zweihander again. So, hello, we are Adventures in Lollygagging. We're playing and continuing our Grey Winter Heath game that we began last week. We've got the full crew here, as Justin is able to join us this week. We will get into the summary of what happened last week in a minute, but let's just get some plug stuff out of the way. So normally, or at least commonly, we're over on twitch.tv/the Lollygaggers, but every Thursday we come here and we play. So if you want to come check us out on like Mondays when we play Vesson and some other games, go follow us there. We also got a Monday. Every Monday, we drop another podcast for Zweihander as well, audio only. So just search Adventures in Lollygagging wherever you find your podcasts, and you can get ours. And yeah, let's see who needs to plug stuff. Jenny, you want to plug something for Defenders? Or
Me? Oh God,
you. It's either
so
you
on the spot.
Or well, I figure Brendan's got other things to plug, so I was going to give you the Defenders responsibility.
Sure, I'll take the Defenders. Oh God,
Yeah.
it's Shuck watching. I'm very very nervous right now.
Yep.
Okay, so I am Jen. I'm from Defenders of Kobold. We play games somewhere pretty much every night of the week. Tomorrow night is Bitter Harvest. On Saturday, we've got our Goodman Games stream going. Our Danger Stranger Goodman Games stream going. Sunday is Shadowrun. Monday is I don't know.
Okay,
And
so you don't know. It's Vesson. Oh my God, that's insulting. Sunday this week, actually, I think Chuck is over on TT2KB. I think this is his Zweihander week.
Sure, he's there.
Yeah.
That sounds plausible. It's very possible. And then Tuesday, wrapping us back around to the other side of the week is Aliens. What day of the week is it?
Aliens is Tuesday.
And then
yeah.
And then I believe Wednesday we have Spectaculars starting.
Yes, that's true.
And then
Spectaculars will be starting on
there we
Wednesday.
go. Now we're back around to the
and now
beginning.
We're back to Thursday. Yeah.
But tomorrow I am not actually going to be playing Bitter Harvest. I'm going to be missing Bitter Harvest because I will be on the Liching Hour for Girls' Night Out, where we are going to be having a surprise party, and I'm going to be wearing the coolest shades known to womankind and playing Gem once more with my crystal fist. So I get to pull out my gloves with the crystals that I have on it, which is wonderful.
You're pretty fantastic shades.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you didn't mention the Zine that or Zine. I do it all the time. Dan dies in the end. I know I do it all the time.
I just know somebody else will mention it at some point.
Okay. Brendan, do you want to mention it?
Sure, I can talk the words into the camera. I'm also a Defenders of Kobold. I'm in basically everything Jen said except for the Lich stream. Although, you know what? Maybe I'll show up. Sure. No, I'm not. But that said, we have a zine, Dan Dies in the End, and that's available on DriveThruRPG. It's like no money at all, and it's good. And Jeff and Jen and I and a bunch of people devoted time to that, and it's good.
Yeah.
It's 50 cents until the print on demand comes out, and I'm in charge of that, so I'm stalling. So it's gonna be 50 cents forever.
That's the cover right there. 50 cents.
Long, are you holding up 50 cents to show just how little it is?
Yeah, it was a 50-cent piece.
Right. It's kind of a shoot the hostage situation where like we just don't give Chuck the right files and he can't update it.
Okay.
And,
So far, I fooled him twice.
yes, it's very much a Riddler Batman situation in which we befuddle Chuck with improper file formats.
And I am definitely doing it deliberately, 100% deliberately,
Oh,
not by accident at all.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
Nice.
No, I saved all of my images at 10 DPI just to fuck with Chuck. But so that being said, I also have a Kickstarter going for Weird Tales Presents Pandemonium, which is a really fun Gonzo Pulp setting in the Cypher system. So check that out and back it if it seems up your alley. It's just monsters and pulp and noir, and who doesn't need more of that in their life? But you can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet because I'm impossible to miss because I don't shut up.
Okay. I think that's everything. So let's get down into this. Justin wasn't here last week, so we gotta kind of do a good job of summarizing what happened in the first ep. So I'll give the general premise, and then you all tell me what happened. So the general premise: we are in a whaling city by the name of North Punkt. It's nearing winter. You all work for a kind of small time like shipping and whaling company that just got its last shipment bought out from underneath them by a big Amazon style like corporation. And so now your owner and yourselves are kind of scrambling to figure out how you're going to make it through the winter when you can't like make the deliveries that you were promised to make in other places around the north. And you have been tasked by your company's CEO to break into the North Punkt Whaling Company's warehouses and steal the barrels that are supposed to be yours and go deliver them. And so that was the basic premise of the task that you are given. Then you all started exploring, and that's where other shit happened. So what do you all remember about last week? Anybody at all?
Some of us went to a bar.
Okay.
And in the back of a bar, there was a creepy creature thingy that scared someone to death.
Mm-hmm.
A red cap.
Yeah, it was a red cat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. Sure.
was bad.
Yeah. And then you left that dead body just in the back, just propped
We
up.
did.
Yes.
Propped up, staring in the direction of where the thing appeared.
So there's that. What else? What else do we recall?
Oh, we went to the warehouse to scout it out, I believe.
Yeah,
And
you did some
I think
scouting.
one of the
there.
wardens were there chopping someone up.
Yeah. I don't think that was there, but yeah, you saw somebody get their hand cut off for like thievery. Then you saw Donnie and Mark Wahlberg fighting each other because one of them thought that the other was a lizard, I think is what it was going on.
Were there robot
Don't
cars
they
outside?
think that in real life too?
Oh, why does Justin's thing look like that? I don't know, maybe. What else do we remember? Trying to figure out what
So there's
Justin's
like a
stuff.
thing going on with like in the bars where we went into the bar later and everybody was passed out. We woke them up. They were having like weird ass dreams and stuff, and like they had their one eye closed. And then Jen gave us some red eye patches.
That's right. Yeah.
And then,
Thank you for remembering they were rad eye patches. I
yeah,
appreciate
it's in my notes. So
Yes.
Okay.
And then what else? Oh, and then people came from the other bar that's like closer to where we are,
Mm-hmm.
and said that they left there and it was the same situation.
Right. So there are two bars. The one that you all visited was the Day Slayer, and you had went in there. Two of you I think two of you went in, and then then you went into the back, and that's when like the whole like you got a guy killed, and you got scared to death type of thing. And then you eventually rounded back and came back, and then all of you met up after a few of you did some scouting of the warehouses for the NWC, and then when you came back, as we were ending the ep, a group of people came in looking to drink, and they saw like what was going on in here, and they were just like, "Oh, not here too," and they referenced like a different bar. So that's what we'll go ahead and get started then.
So hold on. So Jeff, you're telling me
Oh God,
Mark Wahlberg's in this thing?
no,
You said Mark and Donnie Wahlberg.
that's who they were inspired by.
Oh.
Yeah,
But the
Does Robot count as
Wahlburgers
that?
are in this. The
Yes,
burgers
they were-
created by the
were-
Wahlberg brothers are in this.
Okay.
right.
All right.
Oh,
Okay.
why is Justin's screen keep getting all screen? All right, I'm bad at stuff. All right, so let's start. So
And there was chowder.
yeah, there's
Can't
chowder.
forget that.
All right, so let's start up. We're in the Day Slayer. There's a handful of folks that are still around, who are still trying to get back from whatever kind of strangeness had befallen them. And there's the owner Frauke. She is still there as well, cleaning up where some people had vomited, some people had fallen. Chowda had fallen onto the ground, or drinks were spilled. There's a handful of folks who just walked in. Looked around, saw that the same thing was happening here as was happening over at the Sleeping Pilsner. Yeah, so take it away. What do you all feel like doing at this point? We'll put it at like midday, like maybe 2 o'clock or something like that. So what do y'all feel like doing?
We have a heist to do later.
Yeah, so like your goal is to break into that warehouse area and steal the barrels that were supposed to be yours. That is the plan. You also learned of a driver. Like you had found the name of a driver as well.
Oh yeah, I used my cool
Valdemar
thing.
Strub. Yeah, Valdemar Strub was his name. You also, other things, you got a name for a brewer of booze, Jewel Herberger, who's over by Crafters Row, who crafts high-end liquor, because you saw some high-end liquor that was in the Day Slayer, because there was suspicion that maybe the food or the drink might have been poisoned, and that could be why people are in the position that they're in. So it's a question of what do you all want to like your specific task, like the thing that you've been employed to do is to go break in and get barrels, but then there's all this weird shit going on too that you could look into as well. So you're in the bar, people are looking about. Frauke is like hastily cleaning a table and trying to get like the people who just walked in to come sit down and actually buy stuff. They're a little suspicious, but they're finally doing it. All of you are sitting there looking around. You're all there with the exception of Justin's character, who will be here momentarily. What's what are you all talking about, and what do you want to do today?
Would I have known that we were in this bar prior, that like the rest of our party was actually here, like checking it out prior?
Yeah, there's no reason
Okay.
Matina and Ridley wouldn't have told you that they were already here. And I think I think that was the plan initially when you all split up. Like you would have known they came.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would turn to the two of them and ask, is there anything different about the bar when you first came in? Because they weren't like this when you first came in, right?
No.
No, they weren't.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll a scrutinized test, Matina and Ridley, to see what you recall. Go ahead and keep it at standard. So, and we have refreshed our allotment of scrutinized tests. Everything looks, with the exception of like
Vomit.
yeah, people being in slightly different positions, everything looks exactly the same. Yeah.
How does Long feel? Because he chowed down on some chowder, so
Yeah, he's feeling
Yeah,
all
I'm fine,
right.
right?
Yeah, you're feeling fine. It was lukewarm, which was kind of a I guess weird. I don't know. I don't eat chowder.
kind of
but,
gross sounding, right?
But other than that, like it was fine.
Tepid chowder.
It was a little So, but he feels fine.
Okay.
It was ceviche chowder is what it was.
Yeah,
It was-
that's totally got to be safe, right?
yeah.
There can't possibly be.
I mean, honestly, that explains why everyone was sick.
You don't even want to see the outhouses right now. It's ridiculous.
Oh, gross.
Okay.
Okay.
Ridley
like
would have been
nothing's out
off
of
to the
place.
side, like talking to her contact, like getting the information about Vladimir.
Okay. You just know that Valdemar lives alone.
Valdemar.
He lives alone over top of what is some sort of like carpenter's shop. Like it's like renting a room up there. Doesn't actually stay on the campus for the company. So that's about it. Lives alone. Seems like a perfectly reasonable person.
Okay. So then I would also like let the group know, like, hey, we should go pilfer some papers.
It's a good idea. There's also, I think, the name of the crafter of the brews that we got,
Yeah,
right?
Jewel Herberger was the name of a high-end liquor crafter.
So if this is affecting multiple bars, I say we can use this to our advantage somehow here. We're going to a dockmaster to get a boat somehow, and I hear he likes drinks.
Okay.
Maybe we can get some high quality for him too.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, you know about Dockmaster Dex is a gnomish, curmudgeonly drunk who runs the dock area for the NWC site.
Is a violent drunk.
I think he's an angry drunk. I can't remember if he was violent or not, but we'll say he's violent too. Why not?
Yeah, he's an angry drunk, and we were hoping to maybe see him at the bar, but he's not there. But plying
'Cause
him
he's
with
banned.
expensive liquor
Yeah.
would be good.
The general gist you get is that he's banned from bars, so he just picks them up and goes back and drinks alone. So, couple things.
So
you
which
could
do we want to do first?
It's probably about 6 hours of light left in the day.
We got time before our heist. I whisper it because I don't want anybody to hear.
And so,
I mean, we could also go and check out the other bar as well. See what else is happening in that the shenanigans occurring over it. What
Right.
is the other bar called? I'm sorry.
the Sleeping Pilsner.
Sleeping Pilsner. Okay.
That's also a bar you all would know pretty well, as it's very close to your the Rottweiler company that you work for. So you all would know who runs it. Probably have a tab there that should be paid but hasn't been, that kind of thing. So it's a place you would know at least.
Might be able to get more information there because they'll walk in and all cheers, like they'll say our names as we walk through the door.
All six of you.
Say,
I don't
beat us
expect
up.
it, Jeff, but I do expect it.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
Is this bar a Moe's? Is that what it is? Are they saying welcome to Moe's when you come in?
I
You
think
guys have Moe's in Arizona?
no.
No? All right. Never mind.
I thought it was a Cheers.
That joke
reference.
fell
I
flat.
thought you were
Nah.
making
Is it
okay.
Is it Moe's like The Simpsons?
There's a
That's
burrito
what I
place in
thought,
Florida.
yeah.
There's a burrito place in Florida called
Oh yeah.
and every time you walk in they're like, "Welcome to Moe's."
Okay.
That was when I was there.
Okay. I mean, there are 6 of you, so you're welcome to split stuff up. Like, splitting the party is totally cool.
I'm happy to go to the Sleeping Pilsner.
Okay. Anybody want to join her? Anyone want to join
Waving to other people.
Lady Bramble?
I would not like to go to another bar because
Okay.
they might have things in the alley behind that too. So I'd prefer to go to a liquor.
Okay.
True.
liquor
Forever,
or-
forever scarred against any
going to an
alley
alley
ever
ever
again.
Okay.
You roll disadvantage against alleys.
right.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
okay with coming.
Okay, so Reed and Bramble are going to the Sleeping Pills.
Awesome.
Matina, where are you going?
To the brewery, lady.
Okay, so you're gonna go to see Jewel Hairberger. That's Crafters Row. Ridley, are you gonna join?
Yeah, I'll join.
So the 2 of you. Thank you, Irene, for the raid. Really appreciate it. And then we'll get what Brendan's doing when he's done talking. All right, so we'll hit the Pilsner. We'll hit Sleeping Pills first. So the 2 of you head over. You head across. Reed and Bramble. You make it over, and you can see when you get. And this is on the south side of town, so it's on the complete opposite side of town from the Day's Lair. You get there, and you can see that there's a bit of a fracas that has broken out in front, and there are a group of people that are kind of yelling and screaming, and they're kind of kicking a guy who's like rolling around in the mud.
Oh no.
And you would notice that the guy on the mud is somebody you would know as Alvin Pilsner, who actually runs this place.
Of the Sleeping Pilsners?
Of the Sleeping Pilsner. See, most people think that he named it the Pilsner after the beer, but it's in fact his name. It's a common mistake. But yeah,
I literally wrote a note. Alvin Pilsner being kicked is what I've got note-wise. Okay.
and like you all know who he is. He's a friendly guy. He's just not the brightest guy in the world. And
Oh, no.
You've certainly weaseled a couple drinks out of him when you probably shouldn't have at some point in the past. So you can see he's just getting kicked and rolled around, and no one really seems to be doing anything about it. There's a handful of other folks that are just watching and just watching this happen. Yeah,
I'd like to step in.
Okay.
If I feel any sort of affinity toward this person, I'd like to step in.
Yeah, I mean it's up to you how much you like him, but you would know that he's a friendly enough friendly enough person.
Not worth being kicked, so I'll go in.
So you step in, and like kind of people, like as you sort of step in and intersperse yourself in between, like some of them kind of ruffle you a little bit too, like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Ruffle me.
And kind of push you around a bit, and then they see.
Oh, Big Chopper doesn't like this. Big Chopper's gonna step up.
Okay, so Big
You're not
Chopper's
there.
there as
Oh,
well.
are you there?
We didn't
Yeah.
know, so I said we'll figure
Okay.
out later. So he's there.
Yeah.
So Reed, Big Chopper, and Bramble are at the bar, or at the other bar. And so, what do you want to do?
I'm trying to think if I would be good at this. I'm trying to my fellowship is shit. Did any of us have good fellowship?
Of the 3 of you, Reed, do you have anyone?
I don't think I do.
Okay.
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 Well,
Never mind.
You're
I was gonna
out.
say,
You're probably
I'll lie, but-
outnumbered about 3-1 here. Between the people who are like kind of punching and kicking, there's only about 3 of them. But then there's like a whole group that are just kind of staring and like laughing and pointing and whatnot. But as you step in to try to intersperse yourself, they start shoving you guys too. So how are you reacting to that? Like nothing. It's not coming to full on blows, but like it's just the classic like I'm going to shove you in the shoulder and look tough and like posture.
It's a mosh pit.
Yeah. So.
Well, I've been in a couple mosh pits in my time. So what I'm going to say is, I'm actually going to say like, I'd like to take this guy back in the alley, which I hear is very dangerous around these parts, and then I'm gonna rough him up a little bit more on my own.
Okay.
What would I want to roll for that? Because
That's
if
a
I am
guile
the best with
test.
fellowship.
That's a guile test. You're lying.
Yes.
So yeah, roll guile.
Okay.
Yeah, you can roll it since they're pretty inflamed at this point. You can roll it at like routine.
Okay. Let me make sure I actually have it at routine right now. Too many windows. Oh, never mind. Routine's even easier. Sorry, I have like a billion windows up.
No worries. I know the
All
feeling.
right. Dup. Oh no, that
Okay.
is not. Nope.
We do have
Success!
a bunch of those fortune points. So you're welcome to use one if anybody wants any. There's 7, I think. So you're welcome.
Yeah, we get 6.
Okay.
Do you
Posture check in chat.
do you get
Seven.
do you get a misfortune if I use one, or are these okay?
I get a misfortune. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you all think? Do we want to like?
Don't ask Melissa. She used like 50 the other night in a game and got a person killed. So.
Then I use one too.
Okay. Done.
I'm following Melissa's
Okay.
footsteps.
Go ahead and re-roll that. Then.
No,
Did you say no? Don't. It's too
Too late.
late.
Too late. I already hit the button.
It's too late. I am. Wait, did it go through?
Woo!
Oh!
There you go. That's very efficient. Okay.
That's the way to do it.
So-
That's not how I did it.
So-
I kept spending them and getting worse rolls.
There you
Melissa
go.
was just hanging out at like 95, 97
Yeah, the whole time she just
night.
kept rolling for
All
the
of my
90s.
rolls.
And someone
Oh
died.
like-
no!
Melissa, your rating's a 32.
Yeah.
And she's just like, I'm still going for it.
That's how I always determine. Like, where's my percentage? Like, what am I going
Jeff
for?
really enjoys baiting them out of you, so just be
You're
careful.
supposed to do. That's what all the GMs are supposed to do. So
Do you want to re-roll that?
you you go ahead and you step up and they kind of shove you like, what do you do? Who do you think you are? Then you tell them what you tell them. You say, I'm gonna drag him into the alley and kick his
I'm
ass.
taking him into the dangerous alley over here, and I'm gonna take care of him.
And all of a sudden they're like, yeah, getting us sick like that. This son of a bitch. I can't. He's a terrible. His beer is watered down and his chowder tastes like. It tastes bad is what it does. And you drag him to the alleyway, and they're all like kind of cheering you as you go. Reed and Choppa, you're still there. Do you go with Bramble, or do you?
Oh yeah, I bramble on.
Like, how many of them are there?
There were 3 that were beating him up, and then there were another 6 that were just like kind of cheering it on.
I'll make sure Pillsbury is okay.
Okay, Pilsner. Okay, so you'll go
Pilsner,
with Bramble, and you take him around the back, and he heard what you said. She was like, "Don't hit me, please don't hit me anymore. I can't take it anymore."
All I know how to do is hit.
And I calm him and I say, okay, what is going on? What's happening right now?
They think I poisoned him. I didn't poison him. And he's just crying. Like, this guy is giving up. This guy is broken. And he's just, I didn't poison him. I swear. It was the same stuff I served yesterday. And no one got sick. I don't know why they get so upset.
What do you think happened? Why? What do you mean people got sick? What happened?
They got sick. They were eating things and they were drinking things. And all of a sudden, everyone just kind of, well, I think we all just kind of fell down. Then we woke up.
Did you get back up again?
Yes, no one's ever gonna keep me down unless they kick me a bunch. Then I'll stay down until they stop kicking me.
That's how it's worked in my experience.
Oh, we started listening. I just noticed our titles. Still messed up. Thanks, Irene. Totally forgot about that. Oh, I knew I forgot something.
Okay, so so he doesn't know what's going on, just like everybody else. Did you get any new shipments of Pilsner, or are you serving anything different tonight? Like, what's going on, man?
No, I make my own stuff. I don't. I've got my own brewery and no.
Was there anybody interesting who came into the bar? This is like the worst questioning ever. Is anybody interesting who
I
entered
think
the
everyone who
adventurers
comes
bar?
in are
Yep.
interesting.
He values everyone, of course he does.
They're all- a paying patron's an interesting patron.
Don't patronize us with this talk. I want the truth.
You can't handle it. It's just.
I know I can't, but somebody in the party probably could.
But no, he's just like, no, there was a decent lunch crowd. There was like, 10, 12 people, and they were drinking. We had, some singing and some, and some laughter, and then everyone got sick.
Singing in some. What were they singing to? What song were they singing?
Oh, I never heard the song before. Just one of the, just.
Hum a few bars for me.
And he does.
Okay. You're getting around it so easily. Oh, you knew what path I was going down. Okay.
Was it a bad loot player? Not that I'm there, but was it a bad loot player like the other one?
Says a bird that flies by.
Right.
What else you want to ask him? He seems pretty forthright. Like he's just really afraid, and his like teeth are all like
Yeah, the
mystical.
base layers facing these problems too. I don't know if you have anything in common with them. Maybe use the same.
Maybe we get the foods and such. You know, the same, the grocers and things. I think they were talking about burning it down, but then that nice fella inside, he stopped him. He stopped him. Didn't stop them from dragging me outside and beating the shit out of me, but he stopped them from burning down the whole thing at least.
This nice fellow, where's he at?
Still inside, I think. I think he's still inside, drinking all my booze and such. So, since you're in the back of the alleyway, like he'll lead you to a back door into the place, and he'll kind of walk you past, like his brew setup, and you can see like everything. It's pretty nice, pretty robust, clean. Everything looks good. He'll point to where like he stores his foodstuffs, and you take a look, and it's all there. There's nothing obvious here. And then he'll bring you back into the main area where all the tables are. A bunch of them have been knocked over. There's spilt drinks and spilt food, and there's one guy, and you would probably know who he is, but he's just sitting up at the bar, and he's just sort of drinking away. So Justin, what does your character look like? As you're in an empty bar, like sucking from the tap or something like that.
So, I am incredibly beautiful, which is the most important thing. But I have dry, flaky skin. I'm a human.
Okay.
I've got dark tan skin, normal build, medium brown hair, dark brown eyes. I'm about 5'7", 163 pounds. But the biggest thing is I'm incredibly beautiful.
Okay. And so I would say you probably know him. You probably work together, and just like at some point you've probably crossed paths. It just makes it easier to deal with this. But you see he's there and probably has a little bit of a buzz on. So Charles, go ahead and roll a toughness test. You've been sitting here drinking for the past 45 minutes with no one to stop you.
Damn it.
Okay. All right. And so at this point, we'll say like you're. Go ahead and take 21 points of peril.
Wow, welcome to the campaign.
As you have been drinking quite a bit and
That's a lot of peril.
are a bit on the tipsy side. You have been drinking through the heavy stuff, the hard stuff, like because he's got a couple really nice casks back there, and so you've cracked those open and have been. And,
Has anyone else taken any peril at all?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Saw a
Jesus.
They saw
Creature.
some shit. They saw
Yeah.
some shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jeff got us like straight from just
Yeah.
unhindered to ignore
Yeah, it was
one
pretty
skill
fun.
ring.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Well, 21 is probably a lot, so I think that's a lot. But anyway, you're
Yeah,
pretty sloshed.
That's a lot.
You're pretty sloshed, Charles. As the rest of them come in, and again, you all would kind of know each other. You've done work at some point for the same company, and again, let's just keep it easy. You just weren't there this morning for like this speech when they got the job. But like you were filled in, and you went looking around for them. And the first place you came was here because why not? And you were here. So Charles, go ahead and roll a scrutinize test to see what you recall from when.
How much peril is this going to get me?
No, this is just to see what you recall from when when you were here. Whenever
You're
see if you
still
remember
beautiful,
anything.
Justin. Don't
Yeah,
worry
there you
about
go.
Thank
that.
God. I'm just beautifully drunk.
Here's what you remember
Posture check.
before. Oh my God, why is everyone telling us to sit up? Okay.
That's okay. I have imposter syndrome, so it's
There you
good for
go.
me. I need to be reminded every once in a while.
I have that syndrome too. All right, so Charles, you were here for most of the morning, drinking, eating. You're like, oh yeah, like when you told the boss, the CEO, yeah, I'll go find him, no problem. And you walked right into the bar, and like, well, they're not here. Might as well wait to see if they show up. And so you were here when kind of everything went to shit. And you probably had a bowl of chowder and some bread and some booze, and at a certain point, you just kind of blacked out. You remember a few things. You remember just before you blacked out, two people broke into a fight. You remember that there was like a weird song that was playing that you don't remember the lyrics to, and it made you feel a little like you got like the hair on the back of your head, your neck kind of stood up,
Song.
and like there was singing that was being done, but it sort of unsettled you. But that's about it. And so you can relay all that easily enough.
It's this song. It's and then they all left, and the drinks. So yeah,
Yeah,
Told him.
great
Oh.
job, Charles. Yeah,
thanks.
perfect sense.
Thank you,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
All right. So then, let's, go
Do you
ahead.
know where the song was coming from? Do you recall who started
Yes.
singing it?
F thing is the
Oh.
place, so that's where. It's a good song.
This is like me after I've had a few. I totally relate to
Good-
this.
Good song.
It's a good song.
So in between his drunken slurs, he'll convey that there was a like a bardic type in here, and you remember kind of like a bluish, like they were wearing like blue. That's probably all you probably remember.
So
was
a
the
blue
name
bard, you say?
Eiffel Blue Bard? Is that like Black Bart?
There's
Blue
a blue
Eiffel
barks.
65, nice.
Blue barks
Yeah,
all over
so-
the place.
Okay. Let's go ahead and switch over to Matina and Ridley, who are heading to the Crafters area. Okay, so can two of you roll awareness tests as you journey over to where all the Crafters are set up within this town?
You got it.
Sorry, you said scrutinize?
Awareness is fine.
Awareness.
Standard's good.
God damn it. Again, I failed.
Okay, you wanna roll that?
No,
Okay, you sure?
I'm positive.
I passed.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So, when the two of you wander over into the crafters area, you know that there's like just this long run of a street where there's just like different craftsfolk who have taken up shop. They have their workshops on the left and the right. A lot of them live in apartments that are attached to them, either on the sides or on a second floor or something like that. And so you can hear the sounds of like hammers tinking on anvils. You can hear the sounds of like of saws cutting through wood. You can smell like things like baked goods kind of wafting through the air. And at this time of day, which is like, early afternoon, 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's fairly busy. And there are dozens and dozens of people, and you're often having to like kind of push past folks and like accidentally bumping into folks as others are waiting in line to get this or that. You can see that people are trying to get stuff repaired before the day is done, and so there's a lot of that going on. Now, when you look around, you notice a few extra things, Matina. You notice, strangely enough, as you're kind of trying to push past this line of people that are waiting out in front of like a bakery, you can see across the way, like in between kind of a group of maybe a couple, maybe 20 other people who are milling about, there is a man that is walking backwards, just like walking backwards, like perpendicular to your eyesight. Like you're looking straight ahead and you see him, he's just walking backwards through this crowd that just seems to perfectly part for him as he does so. And no one seems to be paying attention to it whatsoever. It's just the strangest sight because he's not carrying anything. He's just like moving in perfect rhythm. Doesn't look behind him as he's doing so. He's just sort of, it's almost like he's in rewind. And then he just continues to back and turn around this corner. He's not carrying anything or whatever.
I'm gonna elbow Ridley and like point that out.
You notice a couple other things too with the 19. You do notice that there is a line of folks that are out in front of the medical office. Like there's the little doctor's office over there, and there's quite a few people that are just sitting outside waiting to get inside. So like healthcare is not doing too well right now. The ER is definitely overstuffed right now. And then finally you hear like this song that's sort of singing. You hear like the sounds of like a couple plucked strings of some kind of lute or a mandolin, and you can't pinpoint exactly where it's coming from, but you can hear it. You do know, you can see exactly where the crafter where the brew crafter is, which is just a couple doors down from the bakery. So, what are you two doing?
Does the lute player sound like the lute player from the bar?
Since you were there, sure, yeah, it does actually. It sounds almost exactly the same.
What kind of test can we use to narrow in on him?
Eavesdrop.
Sure, I'll try.
Mhm.
Standard?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll assist.
You're gonna assist. Okay, so go ahead and roll your d10.
35.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
I
Even without me.
I saw your name and then Ashley show up. I saw it said Rick Ashley or Rick Astley.
Oh,
Ridley,
never gonna give you
There
up.
you go. That's what exactly what the song is too, which is really strange.
Ever gonna chop you down?
Oh no.
You start looking around, and you're pushing through the crowds a bit. No one really seems to be like, everyone's just kind of moving, and like they notice you, but like they're just kind of bumping into you. And finally, you push past this big group, and you can see that standing in the middle of the road, there is this person. Can't tell if it's a guy. Can't tell if it's a woman. You can't tell if it's an elf or dwarf. It's hard to. Well, you can tell it's not a dwarf. Decent average height, but they're just kind of in this blue, almost flickering like velvety type like robe. They got their hood up and they're just kind of playing a bit, and they're just standing right there with a little basket on the ground in front of them. And as like full crowds are walking past them, and they just part like almost like it's a stone in the middle of a river.
I'm gonna go toss a couple coins in the basket.
Okay, so you walk up, you go ahead and you toss a couple coins. What kind of coins are you tossing in? Like, are we talking silver, brass?
I'm
gold?
poor, so it's brass. It's
Okay.
like the best I got.
Okay, so you go ahead and you toss like brass in, and as you do, like you watch the coins as they tumble through the air, and they go to land in a basket that's filled with a good mix of brass and a couple silver sparkling up here and there. But as it's going down, as the brass is going down, it never quite reaches the actual money at the bottom of the basket. The basket just seems to sort of extend, and you have this intense feeling of vertigo as the bottom of the basket just seems to drop out. And the coins that you just threw in are just continuing to tumble, and you just watch the entire time. I need you to roll a resolve test, please. Challenging. I'm sorry, it's standard.
Oh dear.
Okay. So
You beat me to me thinking. Let's not throw money.
Okay. That's what I like to see.
crit
Oh
fail.
no!
Okay.
No.
Matina, as you're standing behind Ridley, you watch as she chucks the coins into the basket. Hey, Chuck. Speaking of Chuck, as chucks the coins into the basket, and you watch, she's just sort of like getting all kind of wobbly and tipping forward, and she just seems to lean forward towards the
No,
basket.
I'm gonna pulling her back.
Fortunately,
I
her
crit
crit
failed.
fail is going to allow this to supersede, but you reach out and try to grab her, and she just falls like head first into this basket and just disappears right in front of you. Now I would like you to roll a resolve test. You can roll this one at challenging, however.
What? Gosh darn it.
I'm now Alice in Wonderland.
A little bit.
I'm on my own adventure. I'll see y'all later.
We're gonna do that on Wednesdays.
This is the most extreme version of splitting the party. It's like sending you to another dimension.
Jeff
Splitting
has
the-
done this before.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So-
true. Okay. Do you want to re-roll that?
23 rating, Melissa.
Come on, you got this. It's only a 23. You have a 23?
She had
It's
a
a
33.
33. Do you want to re-roll
Yeah.
this?
No.
Okay. And so you just completely fall out. You fall down, you black out, and that is the end of the scene with the two of you. Matina, you can take, let's see. You can take 9 points of mental peril. Ridley, you are all the way to incapacitated.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Okay. And so that is the end of that scene. Let's switch back over to the sleeping Pilsner. So you've been chatting for a little bit, maybe got some tea or some coffee for Charles to help him get his wherewithal about him. You do your best to talk up the owner to get a little bit more information, but aside from what you've already gotten, it's just like there's a fight that broke out. There was a weird, a song came out that kind of made me feel not so great, and that's about it.
Do I think I'm smart enough to know to feel suspicious about the song? Like, I've got a pretty okay intelligence. Ooh. Can I roll a folklore test to see if there's any songs that I know of that can like really like fuck people up whenever they hear it?
Sure. Go ahead.
These are the songs of my people.
Yeah.
And wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Do I want to do it at a standard?
Roll
Chuck
the
says,
challenge.
"Was it Nickelback?"
I do it as challenging.
Look at this graph.
It's totally Nickelback.
It's terrible.
Oh my god. I
It's-
kind of
it's
want to.
grim-
I kind of want it to
Grim
be
and
Nickelback,
Perilous, but
No.
Nickelback is maybe too grim for even Grim and Perilous.
or we could just like put Nickelback on a combat map and just slaughter the shit out of them, and just feel better about
Oh.
ourselves. There's that.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Jen, do you want to re-roll that? Okay.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, other than just sometimes when those young kids, they play their music super late at night and it pisses off the old people, you can't really think of anything too much to associate with like weird.
Goddamn
songs.
kids and their skateboards just ruining it all every night.
Yeah.
I tell you.
Thank you for the 100 bits for Nickelback murder. Jen, you want to take that 100 bits and do a reroll, Jen? Because the 100 bits is actually for fortune, so you can reroll
There you
it
go.
if you like without having to turn it into misfortune,
That's true.
or you can just save it for later.
I don't know. I feel
Reroll.
like
Do it.
okay. There it
It's
is.
fine.
I believe you can do this.
I did it.
Okay.
You did it.
Oh, that was close.
See? We knew.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's what they call nickel payback.
You have likely heard of.
Justin.
Oh yeah, Justin hasn't really been exposed to Frendon's puns.
That pun hurt. That pun really hurt
It's
my
gonna
body.
get way worse. You don't understand.
Oh, I'm distracted tonight. I usually go like 3, 4, 5, 6 at a time. Just strap in.
Just yeah, you get used to it. All right, so you would know. You would have probably heard strange stories of, especially in this area, of like this sort of like minstrel types that have a tendency to like lure you into some kind of like almost like mesmerism in a way, and like kind of rob you blind. Like you've heard little folk tales and about like that, but it's on the road specifically. It's just if minstrel comes out of the road, it's like an urban legend type of thing. But that would be the thing that would make the most sense. The idea of people getting mesmerized and suddenly they don't have any money left.
Since I know that, can I ask people like, can I like ask Charles like if he's got any cash on him? Like not cash. Does he have any coin?
Mm-hmm.
Any coin, or is there coin missing that you used to have?
Yeah, all your stuff seems to be accounted for.
I got this many. I got that many.
Oh. I
Is
don't.
he drunk or is he the only person in the party dumber than me?
I got that many.
He has that many.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
like a platonic
Could I-
truth.
Could I ask some other people outside the bar?
Yeah, so you go out to some of the angry people and you're like, did you kick his ass real good?
I high five a bunch of them. I'm like, yeah,
all right.
yes. I took him around back, which is not a
Yeah.
lie. It's not a lie.
Okay, fair enough. You already rolled well on the guile, so you're good.
Okay.
But yeah, they're like, no, they have their money. Yeah.
Okay. This isn't checking out. I sort of say like,
Yeah.
maybe we should head back. I don't know how Reed and Big Choppa feel.
I wasn't
I'll
that interested
come
in the
with
music.
Okay, what'd you say, Long?
I was just saying I wasn't that interested in the music. I didn't hear anything.
Okay. I think the three of you haven't actually heard any music because you guys weren't ever at any of the bars. Matina and Ridley were, and then we're saying Charles was here. So, okay. We'll cut back over to that crafter area, and Matina and Ridley, you come to. You are laying in the ground in the middle of the street. When you go to pull yourselves up, like you've got a headache about you. You're feeling woozy, and you look around, and there's like a good 2-3 dozen people that are doing the exact same thing you were doing, like kind of getting up and confused and just like what just happened. A couple of them are in pools of like vomit. Others are in pools of blood as they fell pretty horribly onto like a
Chowder.
tool or something. And then there's just giant potholes filled with chowder everywhere.
Is the blue-robed musician still there?
They are not, unfortunately. You don't hear
Wait,
the
am
song
I
any
there?
further. Yeah, both of you are up. You are still incapacitated. You're suffering from these intense bouts of vertigo currently. Like, so you're really, really dizzy.
Ooh.
But you're awake. As the two of you have woken up, you look around. Probably at least like a half an hour, maybe has passed or so, maybe an hour.
So I'm gonna kind of, having put two and two together, gonna try to kind of elbow you vigorously, and I'm sure you're gonna yell at me for not feeling.
She
well at
just
the
kind of
moment.
like paws at you, like, oh, stop.
we need to warn everyone about whoever these musicians
About
are.
what?
It's the same bad lute player that was in the bar
I
before
love it when you
everybody
insult
passed
people.
out there.
And then she stops and she just looks at you to see if you noticed. And she's like, just kidding. I did not. I don't like you whatsoever. And then she'll
Sorry?
stand. And I need a nap or something.
Okay. So where do you two want to go?
Considering, well, are you? How far the track are you, Melissa?
I'm at Ignore 2, but we're here at Crafters Row, so I still want to try to talk to the
I'll go with you.
Herberger,
Okay.
because that's why we came here. So
So
Jeff, what does smelling salts do again?
it moves you back up the peril threshold track.
Okay, I have some, so I'm gonna just pull some out of my bag and just.
All right. Take 1 corruption for that.
Okay.
All right. So you go inside, and you can see that she is working behind a desk just fine. There's no one else in here. This isn't like a bar. This is more like a workshop. And when you go inside, you can see this this sort of middle-aged woman with like kind of like grayish hair, short cut, and she sees you wandering in, and can I help you? What do you want?
yes, we are looking to kind of curry favor with someone, and we've heard that a bottle of yours might just do the trick.
Okay. And she will point you to this little chalkboard off to the left that has like a list of what she sells. She sells bottles in cases. How much money do y'all have?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, the cheapest thing
No.
here is like 9 silver. Everything else is in the gold. You can get like a cheap bottle. Like the cheapest thing is this some kind of some kind of rye that's like 9 silver for a bottle, but everything else is in the golds.
Yeah, I have 10 brass pennies. So
Well, she says, well,
Shit.
thanks for coming.
Can we say that we pooled resources from the group before we came over here
No,
so that we can buy the cheap stuff?
I don't think so.
well,
I mean, nah.
while Melissa's like talking this lady up, can I like scrutinize like the area?
You can roll an awareness test. I mean, scrutinize is like something specific you're looking for, but like,
Oh, yeah,
so
you're
if
true.
there's something specific you're looking at, we can do that. Otherwise, just
Not
roll.
yet.
You can just roll
Ooh,
general.
I
awareness.
fail.
Okay. Yeah. It's not an area. It's something much worse.
It's not on this existence.
You look
It's clean.
around. It's I mean, it's clean, well kept. It looks like she's got a worker in the back that helps her, and yeah, it's everything as far as you can tell looks to be on the up and up. So, but she sits there patiently with you. She kind of gives you a rundown of the different boozes that she has, and after a certain while, she's kind of going to be a little bit insistent on you either need to buy something or I got to get back to work. Hey, them Dave. Thanks for the raid. Here we go.
Really? Does she do credit of some kind?
Credit.
Because when we get paid for this job, then we'll have money.
Okay. Yes, she does, but only for previous customers. Like, she doesn't know you. She hasn't really worked with you before. So, you're not like a licensed bar operator in town. So, she'd probably be suspicious of doing that.
Has she seen any of the blue cloaked musicians around?
Let me roll a check for her. Yeah, she has. Yeah. They're a couple days now. They've been panhandling out in the streets outside. Playing
Have
some
you
songs,
noticed-
collecting some coins.
We've just in the last few hours, we've seen a couple instances where wherever they're playing, people seem to pass out. Odd things happen. This just happened in the bar. It just happened down the street a few minutes ago.
Oh, she's like, I don't really know that much about this street, but I mean, people pass out in bars all the time. So
Well, I mean, people just they fell in the street. Like just in the middle of the street. They were playing and people around them just suddenly fell down.
she kind of looks past you out like a crack in the door that's still open. It's like they're standing up to me.
Well, yes, they are now. And I'll look for like a scraped elbow or something.
Mm-hmm. I mean, at this point, she's just. I mean, if you think there's something fishy going on, then there's. I just make booze. There's cops and such you can go talk to. There's other folks that might be able to look into this. I don't really know much about this at all. But and she's. Did you have anything to drink today? Did you drink anything over? Did you two drink something at the bar?
Yeah, I had something really watery, and Melissa had something medium.
Okay,
Yeah.
so she's just gonna be like, and she's gonna kind of smell it on your breasts a little bit. She's like, and maybe day drinking isn't the best thing to do. Maybe you want to cut down a bit.
So do you sell to, and I'll name both of the bars?
Sure. Yeah. Small quantities. Most of her stuff she kind of sells to like private aristocrat folk. People of a higher quality. But no, she sells. Yeah, she definitely sells stuff, especially the Day Slayer, which seems to be a little bit better of a pub.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
I don't have anything else because if we don't have money and we can't buy and we can't do credit, then
Yeah, Ridley
Yeah.
would just warn her that the customers are starting to worry that it's something in the booze.
And at that, she gets a little concerned at that point. She's like, oh, I beg your pardon?
Yeah.
I use nothing but the finest ingredients. And then she starts spouting
and
them.
Yeah, and Ridley will agree. I know, that's why we came to you, because we know you have nothing but the best. But just be prepared if people
Okay.
start commenting about it.
So at that, she's a little concerned. Like, oh, well, huh. She calls out her helper, and like you see this like young kind of teenage boy come out and gives him some instructions, like check this, check that, make sure everything's kind of on the up and up. Look for make sure the seals aren't broken. And so you're kind of sticking around for a while, and he comes back. Everything looks fine. Like he did kind of a quick look. It took about 10-15 minutes to kind of go through the equipment and look at everything. She's like, nope. But thanks for the heads up. And she'll go ahead and whatever coin you have, she'll hand over like this really small bottle of like brandy over to you for whatever. Like it's not they don't really make this anymore, but you know,
The pity
it's
brandy.
not the best, but yeah, she'll slide it over. It's still probably better than whatever you'll get in one of the bars, unless you're
Okay,
buying
cool.
the good stuff. Okay, so you step out and you can think about what you want to do next. Over by the Sleeping Pilsner, what are the rest of you doing? What do you want to do next?
Well, if this is starting to feel like a dead end, we would likely head back to the other bar.
Okay, so you head back to the Dayslayer at this point, which has started to kind of get back.
Sorry, that's what I would do. Don't let me speak for everybody else.
Okay.
Like, don't. I realize I'm saying that, but I'm one of one of 4 people.
I'm drunk and I'm just gonna kind of follow where.
Okay.
So.
I just like tie a rope around your wrist and like just pull you along.
Let's
Like,
go. Let's just do it.
You're
Come
my
on.
new best friend.
Big Choppa, Reed, what are you thinking?
Well, at this very moment, I'm feeling like this is a dead end, and I think I just want to go along with what everybody else is saying.
Okay. So you head back over to the Dayslayer, and people are it's kind of just going back to normal at this point. Like people are like things are cleaned up, all the chapters off the floor, all the broken bottles have been cleaned up, and everything kind of going about its business. You see, it's at this point it's like 4 o'clock or so, 5 o'clock, hitting happy hour time, and you're seeing groups and groups of people from over at the North Bunk come in. You're seeing groups kind of wander out of that warehouse, come over here, or the warehouse area and the compound, and they kind of just set themselves up. And yeah, it's like life is just going back to normal. It was just a weird blip in the radar.
Once the others get back, maybe we could go find this driver or speak to the dockmaster.
Okay. So would Matina and Ridley, are you wandering off to do something else after your time with the brewmaster in the crafter's row?
Matina would be actually considering going to the wardens at this point, because there seems to be kind of a threat to the area.
Okay.
That we've got these musicians. I want to say magicians.
And
these musicians, like
Ridley
wandering
will
around.
try not. She'll be like, we're trying. You know what we're here for, right?
Okay.
And then she'll try and lead you towards Voldemar and say, we should just try and snag his papers.
Okay.
And then she'll ask if you think we should meet back up with people before we go or just go ourselves. Mind you,
Oh.
she's still like holding her head like
Because you're not looking well, I'll probably go back to the tavern and say,
Okay.
or we can try to hire the people in blue to like make all the guards go to sleep and work this
Do you-
to our advantage.
and then Ridley would be like, I don't know if you saw what I saw, what I think I saw, but no. And then
All right, so you're gonna try to go meet back up. Was that the final decision?
yeah.
All right. So for ease, we'll say eventually you all meet back up, 5 o'clock or so. Sun's starting to dip on the horizon to the west, and things are going back to normal in the Dayslayer pub. And you can see that someone has started to play music, but they're not wearing a blue robe. They're just sort of, and a couple people are just like, quit that shit. We don't want to hear nothing of that anymore. Like, no more, none of that. This ain't no karaoke bar. And everyone's just sort of angry
Who are
and
you?
talking. Who are you?
Who are you?
And yeah, so you all meet up. You can discuss whatever your next steps might be.
So, how are you? Anything interesting happen?
We figured out that blue cloaked people playing shitty music are dangerous.
And I remembered a folklore that I heard about minstrels who steal using music that puts people to sleep.
And I'm drunk.
He's drunk.
Who's he?
Would you
But
say
also
this?
very beautiful. Sorry, go ahead.
And I also need
Go ahead,
lotion.
Go ahead, Big Choppa.
Would you say this is a group of blue men then playing songs like
Oh,
a
no.
blue man group of some kind?
Thank you so much.
You know,
Swear to God, if this is the Blue Man Group, I'm quitting.
I mean, I'm just Big Choppa. Big Choppa. In fairness, Big
Shit.
Choppa's pretty drunk and caught that it was like fairly blue man groupy.
Okay.
but Ridley will just kind of like shake her head and just like stare ahead, and she goes, well, I would stay away from them myself. Also, we have a job we should be doing. So, should we go see Voldemort? Steal, those papers. Get in, get out,
Right. Let's go pay
get a
him a visit.
boat. Who knows?
You know where he lives?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you guys got that on a roll last week.
Let's hope he's a friendly guy.
Okay. Other things, or is everyone like rolling out
Let's just squad
Reservoir
it up.
Dog style, slow motion walking towards?
I feel like this is gonna
They
be...
are, but I'm just slowly behind. I'm like, oh,
You know, like the
Stumbling.
child leashes that used to be a thing?
Okay.
Just got him locked on
The
one.
ones that are on the backpack, so that doesn't.
Yeah.
We can
Except
get
for-
a couple
I
guys
have
to
like
the
a little
Dockmaster.
monkey on my back. That's what it is.
Does Justin's character ever sober up, or is this
I'm
like
hoping
a
not.
condition? Or
I
I'm
feel like
hoping
it's been like 4 hours. I think you're getting there. You're all right, unless you've been continuing to drink, which seems.
I'm
It's
just-
slipping
I'm
some.
just-
We're not looking.
I'm just over there, just like, oh, I feel great, guys.
Just a little of the medicine, right?
would you say this is your flask resort?
I gotta go. I'll be.
All right. So you head over to you again. You know that
Inebriation, more drinking. I'm sorry. Okay,
it's
that's
all good. It's all good. You know that this guy Voldemort. This is some kind of driver, one of the wagon drivers for the Wayland Company, and they live in some kind of small apartment above a carpenter. Easy enough to find. There's only like 3 or 4 carpenters that are set up in that area. Only one of them has a two-story shop, so you can kind of narrow it down. At this time of day, you can see that the shop is starting to close down. They're not fully closed down, but they're in the process of kind of breaking things down, cleaning up their tools, and tidying up their area. So like it's still open. The person who actually runs the shop is not Voldemort. It's just there's a separate apartment above. So, what are you all trying to do here?
Case the joint, I guess. See what's
Yeah, see if he's
around.
home yet, maybe.
Okay. Roll an awareness test, Reed. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you can see there's a window open on the second floor. Like the shutters are out. You can every now and then, if you're sitting out in the alley somewhere, you can look up and you can see like a head move past and someone's up there.
So you're saying this building is 2 stories and the bottom floor is like a shop that he doesn't own?
Yep. There's like a separate staircase on the outside that goes up to the second floor.
Are there any
Oh.
crates like leading up, like piled up against the building, like underneath the window, perhaps?
Yeah. I mean, there's like stuff that's set up. You can't tell if they're full or if they're empty, but yeah. Yeah, there's a couple. So,
What is
Now,
our
mind
goal
you-
here? Are we talking nicely to this person? Are we?
We want to steal his driver's papers to get into the compound thing.
And do we know that, like, in this setting, is that something that would typically be on a person's person, or is that more likely in their domicile? Like, where do you think somebody that does this often would have it on them? Would we know that?
if it was like a work day, they would probably keep it on them. And since this is a work day, you would imagine it was on them. But you would think it's either on them or in, if they're the type of person who like
Right.
keeps their keys in their pocket the whole time, or if they take them out
Right.
and get home. So one of those types of things.
Gotcha. So we got a pretty decent shot there sitting on his person then.
Yeah, they're in there somewhere probably. one way or the other, either on him or like on a night table or something.
Anybody good at skullduggery or stealth?
So maybe some of us can climb through his window while we distract him at his front door.
So that's the reason I asked Mel, is because I actually am decent at skullduggery. I've got 2 advances in agility and a 48, so it wouldn't be the
Nice.
worst thing.
Okay.
I mean, I could bump into him and just like try to pick his pockets.
Okay.
Maybe we could have somebody cause a distraction, and then you can get into the house in the window.
I mean, Big Chopper's a little tricky, so I mean, I might be able to do it.
Okay. So what's the distraction then?
Points to Charles.
All right, Justin. You've
Go
been
ask if-
Mean.
Act like you live here. Act like that's where your home is. And
Why
you-
don't we just tell
trying to
him
get
that's
into
his home? And we can just tell him, this is your home and you're locked out. We all have to get inside to use the bathroom. Can you please let us in?
Yeah, I do have a lockpick, so I could use that.
okay.
Okay.
I think yeah. Okay. All right. So
Be a distraction.
Can I? And I'm
Okay.
just gonna be like, I'll keep an eye out of like the alley for like wardens.
okay. Sure.
So I want to like hide
okay.
in like the alley. So thankfully I have a talent streetwise where I get a +20 base chance to stealth test in urban areas.
Okay. Go ahead and roll that test. Charles is going up to the front door to try to lockpick his way in because it's his home. Then I think Big
Guys,
Choppa is
I
climbing
know-
up through the window. Is that what's going on, Brendan?
Oh,
I know how to get
Yeah,
in
I
there.
think while he's going front door, I'm going back door or window.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Gotcha.
Give me a high five.
Oh no! Come on.
Anyway, so hey, yeah. So I got it. I don't know how to open this door. I got these picks. So everybody just stand back and watch.
And
The
then
master does work.
Reed and Bramble and Matina, how are you contributing here?
I'm cheering him on,
Okay, fair enough.
making a
I need
distraction.
encouragement,
Okay.
please.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank
I'm like,
you.
he's like, wait, and I like bring him like a cup of beer, and I like pour beer, like he's like a runner, and instead of water, it's beer.
I'm just I'm doing a lockpick. I'm like,
Okay.
Oh no!
Okay.
Oh god, just making him worse and worse at lockpicking.
Oh man. All right. And
Reed, so should we just hang out in the alley and
If I crit
I'll be
fail.
Big Chopper's backup just in case something goes awry.
I like it. I like it.
Oh boy. So as Charles is going upstairs, with Bramble cheering him on the whole way, Ridley steps to the end of the alleyway and to look for like passersby and such. And as she does, you watch as she just stumbles right into an incredibly obvious stack of crates that anyone could have seen and just knocks it completely over. The carpenter of the shop comes out and starts yelling at her like, "What are you doing? What the hell's wrong with you? This is ridiculous." And there's like stuff all over. So he's got all these, these in progress works that are just sort of spilled out all over the place. A couple of the crates, and so the two of you are just yelling
She's
like
just
crazy.
picking him up, like, I'm sorry.
Meanwhile, Reed's doing one of those things where he's got his hands out and giving Big Choppa, getting ready to give Big Choppa a boost up to the second floor. So Charles starts picking the lock. Roll a skullduggery check, Charles. Do you have skullduggery? It's just this.
I should. Yeah. No,
Okay.
I don't.
You
Damn
don't.
it.
I don't
How do I
think
have
you
lockpicks and not have skullduggery?
Because you're a knave,
No.
like you're a knave archetype. I think it's just lockpicks are standard.
So roll it. And
Still
just-
roll it. It's just flip to fail.
flip to fail?
Okay. So you're just sitting there, like swaying a bit, messing with stuff, just
We
missing
do have
it.
an extra fortune point if you want. We did get 100 bits.
It's okay. I'm not sure if that's really necessary because as he's just sitting there doing that, slamming against the wall, whatever, just like bumping in, you can hear the doors begin to open up, and as it opens up, it opens outward and it kind of like bumps Charles in the head, who's leaning down to pick him up. He goes
Got
stumbling
it.
back against into the rail, and there in the door is the wagon driver that a few of you saw that morning, who has doesn't have like his doesn't have his work coat on. He just seems to have just like he's got like suspenders that are pulled down a bit and just kind of hanging. Like he's definitely been taking a load off for the past couple hours. He opens the door and he's like, "What are you doing?"
I was just checking to see if your molding was good. Your door's good. You have great installation in your home. Thanks for hitting me in the face. I appreciate it.
Okay. So meanwhile, Big Choppa, roll your skullduggery test, and Reed, roll a d10 as you're assisting him with this little boost. And with that assist die, you will pass, actually.
Nice.
So you can replace the 5 in your 53 with the 4, so 43 for 48. So meanwhile, you are scaling up the side, sneaking into the window. You look off to your left about 10 feet away, and you can see the door is open. And you can hear this vague conversation about insulation and molding and such. Bramble, are you up by the door with Charles, or are you just watching?
Yeah.
Okay. So
No, I'm up by the door.
Okay, so as this is happening, you can peek in because you're cogent enough, and you can see that there goes Big Choppa coming over the window and into the apartment, and this guy is Voldemort's getting ready to close the door. He's like, just get off my porch, and he's starting to close
I
the
put my
door.
foot in the door really fast.
Is it?
My foot in the door.
Have
Have you been to the Dayslayer anytime recently?
not today.
Oh,
but I go.
Do you know they're running? Do you know their current stock is? And I basically start bantering
Okay.
to keep them from turning around.
Okay. Roll a charm test and take.
Oh dear God.
Yeah, roll a charm test.
Not gonna be
Charles,
good.
you can roll an
Not
assist
charming
die.
at all.
So roll a d10, Justin.
Is this it standard?
Standard's fine, and then you'll get an assist die from Charles, who's looking as well. You will not get a very good assist die.
I was hoping that we would be trying to
Okay.
like encyclopedias or something.
And so he is starting to ask you questions like, really? Oh, is it any drink? Is it just the shit stuff, or is it the good stuff? You know.
It's the
Oh.
good stuff.
I'll tell you, it's
Good
good
stuff.
stuff. It's
It's-
real good.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's good stuff. And also they're pairing it with a bowl of chowder as well. And the chowder is impeccable.
Ugh.
Some chowder you go somewhere and it's tepid and it doesn't taste very good.
No one
You
likes
go
a tepid
you
chowder.
go to the Dayslayer. Oh, no one likes a tepid
No
chowder.
one. Yeah. it's
Big
Kind
Choppa
of an
yells from the
amateur.
back, but not actually like, it's really good chowder as he's climbing through the window.
Did you guys hear that? Do it.
What was that?
So Choppa, you're inside the apartment at this point. It's not a very big apartment. It's maybe like a 15 by 10 foot room, and there's like a tiny little stove in the corner. There's a bed. It's more just like a small generic mattress with like a couple blankets on it. It's kind of smells in here. Go ahead and roll. If you're looking for such, go ahead and roll a scrutinize test.
Oh, I can do that.
So you're looking for papers. Tepid chowder.
Come on, scrutinize.
Eight
There we
butters,
are.
please.
Okay.
31 out of
Yeah,
40.
it's
Beautiful.
fast.
You can see over on like this upturned crate. So it looks like there's no table in here. It's just a crate that he found on the alley, and he just flipped it over top, and like now the bottom is now the top. You can see that there is just like a crumpled up little folio. It's not leather. It's like it's something. It's like there's like some sort of maybe a very very thin leather or something like that. But inside of it, you can see that there's.
So I've
substance.
determined it's made of something.
Yeah, it's like it's not parchment. There's a covering to it. It looks official. It doesn't look like just trash.
Seems to be made of
Gotcha.
materials.
Seems to be made of
This exists in the
Matter.
corporeal world.
yeah. But you see that, and there's a handful of coins next to it.
I take the folio, but not the coins, because I don't want to be obvious.
Okay. So you grab the folio.
And I if I have the time, I want to look at it, determine if it's what we need, and then head out the window as quick as I can.
Since they passed the test, yeah, you got an extra minute or two, and you
Okay.
flip through it, and it looks like, yeah, it has inside. You can see the official like there's some sort of official stamp. It's got the same kind of logo that you've seen on some of the barrels and wagons of the NWC. You also see like a signature that seems to be fairly pronounced. It's kind of an illegible name, but it's definitely gives it a sense of authority. And this looks just like it. And you read a few words as best you can. Everyone reads a little bit, but not super legible or literate, excuse me. But it seems to be what you're looking
Like
for.
maybe I don't even read it, but I recognize the symbol from
Yeah.
the side of carriages and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah,
So you
yeah.
just snatch that. You look around, like he's got like a weapon in the corner. Looks like just some sort of big old stick, like a walking stick, but it's kind of almost like it turns into like a bulbous end. There's like a cudgel maybe. Other than that, there's like you see some food some food here and there on the ground that's probably been sitting there for a while. There's a rat in the corner scurrying about that kind of disappears into the walls.
What was the rat wearing? Is it psychic?
It had a green mohawk and had a chest. It was just skateboarding. It was really cool.
Yeah. What was
Oh,
that?
that's
Witchcraft.
That's just Brian. He's not a witch. He floats.
Yeah. But yeah, there's really nothing much else in here. So
In that case, I think Big Choppa has scored and is heading out the window as quick as possible.
okay, no problem. And we'll carry over to Skullduggery. You climb down. It's great. Meanwhile, the discussion has extended, and just you're all talking about your favorite drinks and how great they are, and like he's like, do you all want to go over there now together, like the three of us? We could.
I would love to go back to the bar. I
We
would
could-
absolutely love to.
I don't have many friends, so
Oh no! Now I
Like-
feel bad. Well, we have plans tonight to tell other people about the special, but you're so
I could-
cool. Why don't we meet you there tomorrow?
tomorrow is the special going over
Yeah.
tomorrow too?
Yeah.
I put
Thursdays every day of the week.
I put my arm around him and I say, just in case you need some more drink, I know a place you could go. And I have somebody you should meet about that too.
Did you just like climb down the window, climb up the stairs?
Come up to front.
A billion
I-
percent. I
just-
went straight up with his papers.
Gross.
And,
There's three of you now. I've got 3 new friends. It's great. That's 3 more than I used to have. So
God,
I can't count to 3, but there's probably that many of us here.
these guys are
tomorrow
insane.
then? Like what time? What time tomorrow?
Probably around like 2 noonish.
Noon?
Noon.
Hold on. I got. I did.
You pop out your
I got an
You have
appointment.
something happening tomorrow at noon?
Yeah, hold on.
You have something tomorrow happening at noon?
I have a dentist appointment. We have to maybe switch it.
No!
3 okay? Is 3 okay?
Oh my
that's-
God.
Okay, I can't wait. It's really nice meeting all 3 of you. I only knew this one for like 10 seconds, but like I like the cut of his jib.
I put my arm around Justin's character and I'm like, don't worry, we're enameled with you too.
It's,
Yeah.
this guy's a funny guy. Funny guy, this guy.
Yeah.
And you can see as he starts to close the door, he does one of those yes, and he closes the door as he's excited now that he has friends.
We have
Okay.
a new friend.
All right,
Oh, we forgot to tell him about the cheddar biscuits. No, it's fine. It's fine.
We'll surprise him. We'll
Yeah,
surprise
it's
him
fine.
tomorrow. We'll surprise him
he'll be
tomorrow. It's
fine with what's
okay.
going on. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
so you come down the stairs and you can see that Ridley is just continuing to get browbeaten by this carpenter, and between whoever wasn't up the stairs was like recruited or drafted into cleaning up the mess that you made when you
Yeah,
knocked everything
yeah.
over. So by the way, I probably, since you crit failed so hard, go ahead and take 10 points of physical peril from the stumble, by the way, into the
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
You
Okay.
just did smelling salts to get rid of peril.
This is how the game works. All right. So you've got.
I'm incapacitated again.
Sorry.
Damn it.
That
You
sucks.
really hit your shin real bad, and it's really smarting.
So at this point, it's almost sunset. Like sunset's probably within the next 30 minutes or so. So there's not a ton of light left. What do y'all want to do? You have papers that might get you in for a wagon driver.
I think that's half the task. We need to
Can I read them and make sure it's not like my name is blah 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 blah, like a certain person.
Okay.
I have education. I can read,
Okay.
But you're incapacitated.
but I'm incapacitated, so never mind.
Okay. The
Can we just
Vertigo
drag you
figure-
there? Drag you up to the paper and put your face on it?
I mean, I can walk, but I'll just.
The
I
words
don't-
just
okay.
are moving
But-
about on the page, and they just
Yeah.
won't sit still.
The
The
vertigo.
Vertigo's just kicking in. I would say if you pass it around, if Big Chopper shows it to other folks, like, no, do you feel like this will get you in? Like it's just sort of like a generic passage in. So that doesn't seem to be assigned to a specific person. Okay. Now, you know that your company has like 2 shitty wagons that are sitting back in your like in one of the warehouses back by Rottweiler. Like they have like their own little logo or little faded logo on it.
But we got rid of that last
We
week.
painted over it.
Oh, that's right, you did paint over it. So you have that painted over. What do you all want to do?
So we have our way in. We just need a way out, which is we got to secure a boat somehow.
I mean, the papers should get us in and out.
I thought we stayed there and we never saw people come out.
We saw one.
We saw a
You guys
person, but not the
saw-
wagon. Yeah.
You saw an empty wagon go in.
And then we saw the driver come
You
out.
saw
And we didn't see
driver
the
walk
wagon.
out. Yeah.
So maybe what we need to do is one of us needs to commandeer a boat. If only there was somebody who was good at boating, and boat it around the side. And once you all were in, you find a way to get the barrels to the boat.
Do we have any
Exactly.
boat contacts?
I thought the dockmaster ducks.
Oh yeah,
contact.
that's right.
Well, the dockmaster, he like works for he works in that compound. Like he's part of that whole crew. Like he's part of them. But you know that he's like an angry drunk. I think one of the early plans was to sort of ply him with a special bottle of booze.
Right. We have a sort of special bottle of booze.
Right.
Does it have poison in it? Are we poisoning him? Who said poison?
What?
You said poison.
Are you sure though? Are you sure?
Charles, was that you?
Charles?
Oh boy.
Helena's not here, so there's definitely no poison.
Okay. Let's see. Lady Bramble, I mean, you're a buccaneer, right?
I am.
Why don't you? I mean, do you want to try to steal one?
I do.
Okay.
I
Now-
also have my shadow broker trait where I could
love stealing
possibly get
boats.
some info. I just have to spend a fortune point.
Okay. Okay. So you want to steal? Okay. You want to steal a boat. You do know that you're gonna need to come out with a couple dozen of these barrels. So the likelihood of you getting a boat big enough to get all of them in one trip is probably not going to happen. But a couple trips for sure. Like you could definitely get a boat, like some sort of skiff or rowboat or something like that. You might be able to track that down along the docks. So why don't you go ahead and roll? What do I want you to do? You can do guile if you want, or yeah, just do guile to see if you can kind of, or skullduggery if you prefer, whichever you have that's better, to try to just talk your way around the docks and see who might be leaving their boat free for the night.
Weirdly, I think I don't have a point in skullduggery.
You could do guile. I mean, guile is more just sort of like lying your
I'll do-
way to gain access to something.
I think I still weirdly have, because I have a 50 in agility plus one advance, so I think that likely my agility is better. So skullduggery is likely better.
Okay.
Skullduggery would be flip to fail.
Yeah, that's the only thing because it's a special skill.
Okay, then I will do guile.
You could always.
Whee!
There's other people in the party. You could always try to get Big Chopper to give you a hand because we know that he's got skullduggery.
Yeah, who wants to try and make our way into this boat?
I've got some skullduggery in me, and I'm kind of sneaky. I think it sounds like the kind of thing Big Chopper's down to do.
Okay.
Cool.
So the two of you head to the docks to try to procure yourself a decent size skiff. So we'll do two things then, so that you both can roll something. So why don't Lady Bramble? Why don't you do like an awareness test to see if you can find one that'll suit you. Or if you have it, let me see. Do you have pilot?
I do.
Go ahead and roll pilot as you look. So like
I've got
as
so
you
much pilot.
go ahead and roll that as you're trying to assess one that's going to be big enough and sturdy enough to
That's
carry
a
bunch
lot
stuff.
of pilot. That's a
Okay.
lot of pilot.
I am a pilot.
Okay, so you do in fact notice a recently emptied skiff that is just sort of sitting there. It's tied up pretty nice on one of the docks east of town. It would probably carry maybe 10 to 15 barrels, so you would probably need to take like two trips with this.
That's okay.
But it would probably work. So then why don't Big Choppa, you go ahead and roll. Like, explain to me how you want to steal this. How about that? Like, how do you want to steal a boat from a decently busy docks? Like,
Big Chopper's not big subtle, right? So I think we've got a pilot and we got Big Chopper, and Big Chopper's just gonna jump on that thing and take the rope off and go.
okay. So go ahead and roll a skullduggery test to see if you can get away with this, and I'm just gonna roll a general awareness test.
So as a personal aside, just confidence when you're doing something illegal is so important. So that's Big Choppa's raison d'etre here.
Making yourself look like you're supposed to be there. Usually people don't ask questions. Do you want to use a misfortune? Or a
I
fortune?
do want to use a fortune point on that.
All right, go for it. Okay, that's
There
much
you
better.
go.
So I'm just gonna roll a general awareness test to see if I beat that 38 and someone notices you stealing this kind of stuff. And yeah, the two of you just move onto the docks like you're meant to be there. You don't ask questions. Lady Bramble probably looks the part to some degree, and you look around and everyone's kind of busy. There's some people are tying their boats off for the night. Some people are taking their boats and leaving and kind of returning to a bigger ship that's out in the water somewhere in the harbor. And you two just hop into this thing and just row away and get the hell out of Dodge. You know that there's like an access dock that your company can get to the south. So you probably row it down there to have it ready for the evening.
Okay.
Okay. So after a couple hours, Charles is probably at this point sobered enough. Ridley, you haven't gotten sleep, but all of you can kind of reconnoiter, or I guess get back together around the company site, the Rottweiler site. You have a boat now. You have papers. What's the plan?
Did they let drivers in at night?
You've only scouted during the day. This is still day one.
That's right.
I mean, we could probably just scout him for like another day. But we do have those papers. I wonder when he has to go to work next.
It's true.
And also, who owns the boat that we just stole?
Mm-hmm.
Who might notice the boat's missing?
And you guys are just hanging out on the boat.
At some
were
point,
you
someone will notice the boat's missing. It's just a question of when. Yeah.
I think we should just go tonight.
Just go for
Yeah.
it.
Maybe you guys should
Yeah.
just make an
Okay.
excuse while you're there.
Okay.
Yeah, I
What
think
can
Bramble's
do
on
to
it.
help, considering I'm incapacitated?
Do you have any more smelling salts?
Yeah.
Hit another smelling salt.
Okay,
you
that's still
go.
gonna put me at ignore 3 ranks.
Okay. So, is somebody taking the wagon inside? Like one of your wagons inside with the
Yeah, we'll take our wagons.
Okay. Both
Because
of
we'll
them?
have to wagon them over to the boat, I'm assuming. Like, we're going to need wagons in the process of moving.
Okay. You can do that. So who's driving them?
Well, didn't they say they were thinking about expanding? Like, we learned that, right? Like, to another, like, storage location? What's the chances we could just load up our carts and be like, yeah, we're going to take this stuff, we're going to start loading some stuff over at the other location?
There isn't another location. Like the idea is that they're looking to expand and sort of like just push everyone else out. So there's not like another location or anything like that. There's no other Amazon warehouse location around here.
We'll tell them, like, yeah, this one little shop shut down, so I figured we'll just start storing stuff there.
I mean, you don't know how common it is to do this at night or whatnot, but like, it is a shipping company, so like, while you may not have seen any like full wagons leave, like it's reasonable to assume that at some point they do. So there's always that to consider.
Are there any like large settlements nearby that we could possibly like say that they need like a rush order and like
Mhm.
we're here to bring stuff over?
Yeah, there's quite a few. Yeah, like there's a couple different places that you would deliver to. Yeah.
So then why don't we try and like double up and we'll like also load up the boat to get some extra goodies. And then see about filling up the wagons and also just bouncing.
Maybe not like double up, but like do the work in 2 different ways, sort of thing. Split the load. So
Okay.
instead of like taking multiple rounds one side, we can just like 1 round both ways.
Okay. Sounds good. So who is on the boat crew? Okay, so Bramble and Choppa. Anybody else? Okay, and Charles.
Is Charles in charge? He's pretty drunk.
Only of our days. Who knows? Who
But
knows
also
in
our
charge of
knights.
nights? Oh yeah, that's true.
Angela.
Wrongs and rights.
He's been sobering
That's
up.
who.
over
That's
the
who's
last
the
couple
boss.
hours.
Never mind,
That's
the
who's
wrong
the
one.
boss.
Same show, really. If you think about it.
That was a Missa Milano, is what that was.
Oh man.
Same show when you think about it, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna have that song. The new boy in the neighborhood lives downstairs, and it's understood. Oh, Charles in charge. Why is Scott Baio such a tool now? Okay, so the rest of you, I assume, then are on the wagon tool
Mm-hmm.
or wagon
Yeah,
team.
we're on the
excuse me.
wagon.
Are
Yeah,
you taking?
I feel like I'm a handicap though.
Are you taking 2 wagons, or are you taking 1?
Since we only have 1 paper, should we just do 1?
Up to you. That's got to be Matt. That's got to be Matt.
Could it be anyone else, really? Come
I
on.
do hope that like whoever works for Free League Publishing just calls us gaggers. Just that would be great. But I'm pretty sure it's
no.
Matt. Yeah.
The old gagger dagger straight to your heart.
Yep. We got
Ew, just a full gaggle of gaggers.
Ventures and gagging, defondlers of Cobalt. It's
I'm
I'm gonna
glad
explode. I'm gonna explode over here. Can you guys just stop, please?
in character, like, yeah, it makes sense. You're drunk. Like, okay,
Okay.
I get it. That's commitment, really, I say.
All right. So we go. Okay. So what time are we going? How about that? Let's think about that. So it's probably about an hour past sunset by the time you finish your boat theft. So you've got there's still busyness in the town. It's the nightlife of North Punkt, but when do you want this all to transpire?
I would say we probably don't want to wait too late. I mean, it's not like a, 1 o'clock in the morning kind of thing. Like, oh, this is totally normal.
Yeah, like that makes sense. Like normal trafficked business hours almost is the best cover, right? Like get it out when there are more boats on the water and when there are more people in the streets and when things are bustling, right? Like that's all good cover.
Okay. All right. So then 3 of you are on the boat, 3 of you are on the wagon, and away we go. So why don't we get who's going to do the driving on the wagon?
Oh, sorry. I'm very excited.
Oh, I know you're doing the boat. I know you're
Drive.
doing the boat.
I'm very excited.
Okay,
You guys
then
have drive?
no,
I do not have drive.
That's you.
Okay.
It's all you.
I mean, you have enough pilot that it should be basically impossible for you to fail.
It will be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you
fantastic.
don't have any talents, in which case then all that goes away as soon as you ignore ranks.
Yeah,
What?
if you're incapacitated like myself.
Oh, you mean focus? It's not talents.
Sorry, focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how'd that drive? So who's driving? You said Reed is driving.
I'm driving.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and just roll a routine drive test. Just a routine. I mean, like you've probably driven this before.
Yeah,
It
of
can't
course.
be.
Famous
multiple
last
times.
words.
Can't be
It'll
too
be
bad,
routine.
right? Should be easy enough. You want to re-roll that?
Get a 52 chance.
Oh, it's also flip
flip
to
to
fail
fail,
for you
too.
too. Oh boy,
Wait, why is it
Oh.
flip to fail?
because drive is a special skill.
Oh, I
I
thought you had
said
it.
you had drive.
No, I said I didn't have it.
Totally misunderstood. Totally thought you said you had
Yeah.
it. I have a 33 in brawn though, so you're still better off than I am.
Go ahead and spend that point. Go ahead and do it.
How many do we have?
Like 1,000. There's so many people in this.
Yeah,
game.
let's spend all 1,000 real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Roll well.
Let it ride.
No, that ended up
Better
at
by
like the
3.
exact same place.
Okay.
Yeah, better by 3.
Okay. Unfortunately, it is flip to fail. As I just spilt water like all over myself.
Oh no.
It's all good. It's all good. It's fine. I just
You could hear the amount of water.
Oh,
that was- I don't believe
Is it
it.
like
So
down your
cool.
leg?
Oh,
Is it?
Or
Are you,
she
do, you,
just-
do you feel effervescently refreshed? Like how refreshing was?
I strangely enough don't mind this at all because it's very hot. in
It's
this
very
room.
hot. Yeah, I was
And
gonna say,
actually-
what's the
Just laugh.
temperature?
there's
You know what, Jeff? Just lap it up.
I'm-
Just lap it up.
just making sure essential parts of my computer aren't getting soaking wet right now. I think
Is
we're
that
okay.
what you call it? Your computer?
I mean,
sounded-
come on,
it
man.
sounded like
It's-
so much
Everyone's
water.
got to have a nickname.
Your CP new? Is that what we're talking about here?
I like it. Oh god, that feels very cool. You
Melissa's face.
you begin driving. Oh god. it's just
I wonder if
everywhere.
any water got near the router because I'm
No, 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 no,
struggling
no.
keeping
Well,
up with
we'll
the
know in
internet
just
No,
a
no,
little
no.
bit, right?
No, no, no. Don't
We'll know
worry.
pretty soon.
All of the
Thank you
water.
for tuning into the Lollysoggers.
All of the
that was tonight's
water.
session.
Like 75% of the water is in my lap right now. The other
that's just
25% is on my mouse pad. And that's about it. Yeah, that's just. Ooh,
I mean, I might spill some of
So
myself
you
to
were-
join you here, so you're not the only one awkward.
Did you know? It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Okay.
Jeffrey, it's okay that at old age you start losing control of your bladder. It's okay.
At an old
I mean, it
age.
depends.
Oh,
Oh.
Anyway, let's get back to this. I hope my mouse doesn't die. Okay, so you start driving through the streets, Reed, with Ridley and Bettina by your side, either up front or in the back. Are all three of you gonna soggy bottom boys? That's good, Irene. I like that. Are all three of you gonna try to be on the wagon when you're going through?
I don't see another way.
Okay.
I mean, either they're on the wagon or they're dragging.
Okay.
So.
All right, go ahead and roll. Each one of you roll a d6. As the geez.
6.
Okay, that's
Six?
2 sixes. I need one more d6. There should be a third. Did we lose Melissa? Is Melissa frozen?
There we go.
Okay. All right. So you start. Maybe I did hit the router. I don't know. So you start driving through the streets, and it's quickly and readily apparent that Reed has no idea how to drive the wagon, as the horses don't for a good 20 minutes. The horses just sit still, and he's just like yeah, and they just look back at him with the most annoyed look on their faces, because I think horses are very they have big full expression, like get the fuck off my wagon. But after a while they finally move, and as you're leaving the factory, you clip the door of the factory on your way out, and it just takes it clear off the hinge. It just drops straight to the ground. You can see that the right side of your wagon has this huge scrape along the side that just kind of cuts through the scattered paint job that you just did last week to kind of hide the logo a bit. And you can see that your boss, their CEO boss, is looking at you and is just, how?
It's okay. We can fix that. It's fine.
You can buff that right out. It's okay.
So she just kind of curses on her breath. She's like, "You better get these things, or it's not just gonna be the side of the wagon that's all cut up." I don't even know. Something like that. I'm threatening you is what I'm saying. Now go. And so you start driving through the streets, and as you're driving through the streets, you realize that there are a couple times where there's intersections, And at those intersections, there are other people on horses, wagons. There's other people who are walking that are there's no street lights. There's no
watch where you're driving.
There's no stop signs. And so as you're driving, at one point, you just kind of like just burrow through like this one intersection. Right as coming in the other direction, you can see this young man is just almost like paddling a rickshaw a bit. He's just kind of pulling this cart behind him, doesn't have the luxury of having horses, and you just knock him completely over, and he goes flying ass over head, and his cart just kind of tumbles, and you see all these cabbages get thrown to the ground, and he's just shouting and cursing you the whole way, and you see a bunch of onlookers are kind of shouting as well, and they're just like, is this them? A few people chase you for a little while, but eventually they give up, and after about maybe a 15-minute, very terrible and very frightening drive, you reach the front of the warehouse. I need a piloting check for the boat.
Okay, so I can do the piloting check. I get a plus 20 to my piloting check.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, Adam wants you to do my horse sound. What was the horse sound? What was it? Was it wah? It was a dying horse.
Oh yeah, I remember
It was a
those.
dying horse. Wah.
how many dying horses have you ever seen before?
I kill so many horses in these games. I think it was it's the stupidest sound. So go ahead and roll your piloting check. 67.
Done.
Okay. You are moving along through the night. It's kind of dark on the waters. Like once you get a good 100 feet away from the docks themselves, it gets kind of dark. There's not really a whole lot of lights out. Is anyone busting out a lantern, or are you just trying to do this in the dark?
What do you think, Bramble? Do you think Big Choppa should carry a lantern, or do we want stealth?
We want stealth.
That's kind of what I was feeling.
Okay.
Like take the chances with the rocks and anything.
All right. So luckily the water's not too bad. Like you don't really feel like a pretty heavy tide. It's not too choppy, and
Oh,
So you're saying
Is
it's
it-
not Big
oh, no.
Choppy?
it's not big choppy. It's
would
little
you say
choppy.
that? Never mind. I'm sorry.
What were you gonna say? I didn't mean to
say
overtalk you.
No, it's okay. I was just ask if there was any smoke on the water at all, and I'm asking seriously, like as a joke, but also seriously. Is there like any smoke or fog or mist?
roll a
'Cause I-
d6? Roll a d6.
I don't. Okay.
She's
It's
basically
6.
just
Yes,
here,
there's
take this.
fog or mist is rolled in for sure. Yeah.
Cool. I ignore any penalties associated with that.
Okay, this is actually helping you. And
Yes, that's exactly why.
a few times you hear like bells of other people
Bramble
are like ringing bells and such as they're trying to move through the mist, and you're just kind of navigating through it without a problem.
Cool.
At a certain point, you do, however, hear something kind of strange. The three of you in the boat, you start to hear this kind of peculiar, like parallel rowing sound. Like the three of you in there, someone's rowing. At least one or two of you are rowing. Maybe Bramble is kind of giving commands or something along the way. But you start to hear like every time like the oars come up and then splash down into the water, it makes a sound. And after about like 10 minutes on the water, when the fog and the mist kind of rolls in, every time the oars plunge down into the water, it starts to echo. Like there's like a second boat nearby that's doing the exact same pattern you are. You just whoosh, and it pulls up and then whoosh. Like you even slow and stop at one point to see if it's just like the rhythm, and then you don't hear anything, and then you go and splash down again, and over again. It's almost like there's an echo. It just feels like something's echoing you, and you swear there's got to be another boat around here, strangely enough, that's doing the exact same rowing pattern as you.
There's another boat around here. Can I see them? Can I look for them
Sure. Roll an awareness test.
with no penalties?
With no penalties.
I'm so proud of myself. So proud of myself. There we
Okay.
go.
Yeah, you look out on the water, and as you're kind of peering through the mist, and you can see the contours of much larger ships further out. You can hear the sound of like a cannon going off here and there, for some reason, as people are probably just getting drunk and being stupid. But you don't see anything else. You don't even you look at the currents of the water as you peer down, and you can see the there's nothing really coming towards you, and that's when as you're looking down, you start noticing that every time your oars like hit the water, as if they're like plunging into the water, you can see something timed perfectly begin to come up from below the water, almost like the reflection of the oars themselves is kind of coming up, and like something sticks up out of the water each time you plunge your oars in.
This is weird. I draw attention to Charles and Big Choppa.
Okay, so Charles and Big Choppa, if you peer over the side, like your heads kind of stick over, there's a little bit of light that's floating in from like the dock area, but not a ton, like especially with the mist up. But you see these vague, you see the vague shapes of your own heads in the waters themselves as you're looking down, and as you're watching, like the shadow that's underneath the water that would probably be your reflection is just sort of sitting there and moving in perfect unison. You tilt your head a little bit to the right, and your shadow kind of moves a little to the right, tilt it to the left, tilts to the left. And suddenly you start to notice that the shadow is beginning to demonstrate features as you see eyes and nose and mouth and such begin to form. And you're looking directly at yourself, like there's a face just immediately under the surface of the water.
Big Choppa is going to reach down and big karate Choppa that face.
Okay, roll an attack. Okay. So as you punch down into the water, you feel like a sudden and violent pressure on your cheek, and you take 5 points of damage, and you kind of go flailing back in the boat.
Big Choppa's big confused.
Yeah.
When I look down, I'm like, oh my god, I am beautiful. Oh my god.
Yeah. So you watch for a while, and you realize that person is just gorgeous.
Is he also very flaky? Or
Only
is he
they
like
had
better?
some sort of moisturizing regimen. Like they could
I
be
just
so much
wish
better.
they had some type of baby oil or something.
I mean, they're literally in water. They are moisture. Can they be flaky? Are they
That's
made
fair.
of pastry?
That's
Like,
fair.
what are we looking at here?
That's fair. It just looks like your cells, like underneath the water. And like every movement you make just seems to sort of like reflect perfectly with it.
I turn to everybody in the boat and I say, when you hurt it, it hurts you, whatever this thing is.
Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
It's not stopping us.
It's not stopping you. It's not. It's just like a
keep
really
going.
peculiar manifestation of something.
We'll deal with this. Is a problem for future us, not a problem for current us.
Now, Bramble, you're
Famous
right.
last
You're
word.
always right.
Exactly. As
right.
it pulls us underwater and takes our places.
So you pilot the rest of the way, and when you get to the actual, like you start heading north up the coast, and you pass by the public docks and such, and eventually you make your way to kind of the section of the docks that are privately owned and operated by the NWC. So you know that there are 3 long piers that come out and extend eastward into the water, about ranging between like 25 feet and like 100 feet. And so there's not a ton of like enormous boats, but you can see that there's a handful of boats that are on the water here. But you can see these 3 long piers come out, and then there's like a perpendicular one that's just the dock itself that's attached to like a raised portion of like a rocky coast. Where are you looking to sort of make shore? Like, where are you looking to actually park your boat as you come up here?
So I see other boats parked at the piers. Do I see people, or does it look mostly deserted?
Roll an awareness test.
Okay.
Again, no penalties.
Yeah. Oh.
You want to reroll?
Nah.
You sure? We're nearing the end. Like we're almost
Sure.
we're almost-
Okay. Why is that a thing? Did he just trick me?
And then the shadow people attack from the bottom of the
No, he
boat.
didn't.
Sometimes
It
I
got
like to roll them
worse.
over. Okay.
Oh, that's
Okay.
what usually happens to me.
You definitely see some lantern light, and we'll say you can also hear the sounds of like laughter and such. So it does seem like the docks are occupied. But
Wait, I failed. You know I failed, right?
yeah, But you can,
Okay.
yeah, you can
Okay.
still hear stuff, but you can't
Okay.
pinpoint exactly how many there are and exactly where it's all coming from. But you would know that they're occupied, just hard to say where specifically.
Okay, so there are three piers that are kind of like obvious. Are there any like non-obvious places to make sure? Like any places that are maybe off the
Off the
beaten
grid.
path?
You know that the best chance for something like that would be on the northern side of their little compound.
Okay. What do you two think? Should I try and pilot us to the northern part?
I think the more secluded, less trafficked part makes sense. I think you have good instincts there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So you just keep kind of pushing past these handful of piers and eventually start to curve around as best you can, trying to avoid what you think are occupied sections of the pier. Let's go over to the wagon side of things then. So the three of you, Reed and Matina and Ridley. Reed is in the driver's seat. Matina and Ridley are there as well. You got this empty wagon. You come up against the gates, and you can see these. You can see there's a small table where like people are playing cards. One of them gets up, moseys over. He's got a lantern. It's just kind of looks expected at you and kind of
Pull out the
stares.
papers.
Yeah, he pulled the papers and he kind of looks down at the side of the wagon. It's like, what the hell happened to your wagon?
Hit something on the way out.
Like, you don't own these things, right? You know these are the companies, and that
Yeah, we'll let them handle it. It's okay.
it's off your paycheck, not mine. And so they go ahead and they take the papers and they start kind of flipping through them. And it's like, well, kind of late, don't you think?
Got held up at the Daybreaker. Put something weird in the drinks.
You were drinking on the job?
No. There was a fight that broke out that we had to get involved in outside the Daybreaker.
And so he turns around and he points like 200 yards down the street. You mean right over there? At that bar right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Roll a guile test, Reed, and then you can take an assist die from Matina.
It was a really big fight.
It's a really, really big fight. God.
Pass.
Nice.
And so he just shrugs like, listen, if you want to drink on the job, if you want to crash your wagon and drink on the job, that's your business. I don't care. But just make it quick. And so he turns around, mentions something to the others, and they start opening the gates for you. Wagons open up, and you start coming inside. After you clear, you can see like one of them are following you briefly before the gates fully close, and just says, keep an eye out, try not to knock anything over. And he points over to the west, like where the wagons specifically are, and you can look. It's fairly dark. There's like a handful of folks like moving about in the streets. There's probably about a half a dozen or more actual buildings. Let me just put you on the map. I have a little map for this. By little, I mean like a gigantic map for this.
Ooh.
So I'll show you now that I know where everybody is. So we've got Reed and Matina, and we've got Ridley in one group, and then we've got Big Choppa, Charles, and Lady B with a different group. All right. So give me 1 second to just put your stuff on, and I'll move you all over. Right. So we'll say that you two are kind of heading over toward, or you three are heading over towards where the wagons are, and the others are kind of up by the like the northern parts, and you're trying to kind of hide or like stealthily move up onto the docks themselves. Let me reset fog. And
To
now
derail, but I think you said
I
Stefan.
don't think it's updating for us.
I haven't moved
There
you.
it is.
Yeah, there.
I
I
haven't
think
moved
he
you over
was
because I had to
Put
put
in
your
the fog.
yeah, I had to reset the fog. Okay, so this is very hard for mean, you all are quite literally on completely opposite sides of the map.
Perfect. Working as intended.
So over in the northeast corner of the map, on your little boat, you have moved up as best you can. You can see that there is, there's some light on the docks here and there, and you can hear the sounds of folks. And then over here in the southwest corner, you've got Ridley and Reed and Matina. So once the person points you to where you're going, like where the wagons are, just goes ahead and they return to the gates themselves and step back outside, and you can hear the gates close, kind of go through this machination of locks, and you're kind of parked over here. We'll put it at like 9 o'clock or so. You can still
Posture
see
check.
there's people. God darn it. You can still see there's people kind of milling about, like some folks, laughing and drinking. That this is a place that's got just plenty of people who work here, and some people actually work on site. So, what do y'all want to do?
Try to find out where this warehouse is.
Okay. So you notice from where you're at, you can see roughly 3 buildings kind of around you. Off to the west, Reed, where I'm pinging, you can see there's a sort of a small building over to the west. Just in front of you and to the east, you can see there's a kind of a longer building with a low hanging ceiling, and then right in front of you, and slightly over to the left, there's a very, very large 2-story building. It's like super tall. It's got to be about maybe 20 feet tall with kind of a rough shingle roof atop it. One sort of long slant, not in the center peak. Then the boat side, you would be able to see that there's a couple folks that are in these 2 boats over here that are just sitting there and like kind of drinking and bullshitting, and they're like on the other side of this pier from you all. And then the docks themselves, like you found a little spot where you can kind of get off and walk, and you can see that there's kind of a raised semi-hill that goes up to where all of the warehouses and such are. So like the piers are kind of on like a slightly lower level than the ground, which is a bit elevated. You can see that the 2 folks that are kind of hanging out by this small set of boats, they have a lantern set up on one of the posts, and it's kind of giving off a decent amount of light in that general area, and it just vaguely gives you the sight of it's like a set of stairs that kind of goes up that incline inward towards the actual compound itself. So, what are the 3 of you trying to do over here?
Which 3?
This is the boat folk.
The boat folk.
Yeah.
That's what I prefer to be called. Boat folk.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to try to disembark because I think that's what we do at this point.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or, I mean, what else could we really do? We go get off this boat.
Okay, so you pop off the boat onto the pier, and you have a couple options. Like you can, like when you get to like the end of the pier, or not the end of the pier, but the start of the pier itself, you can try to walk past those folks that have that light that are sitting there bullshitting, or you can look for another way up. The incline between the docks themselves and like where the actual warehouses and buildings are, it's a good 7-8 feet, and then there's kind of like this awkward fence at the top of that raised ridge. So you can try to climb it, which might look strange, or you can just try to walk past, or whatever it is that you want to do.
I guess we should probably just walk past. Inconspicuous, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think again the confidence in being there thing is a way to go, right? Like we're supposed to be here.
Okay. So yeah, you just move past, and they look up at you briefly. Like they kind of look up, and you can tell that there are a few sheets to the wind at this point, and they just sort of like raise a glass to you all and go back to whatever the hell it is they were doing.
And I'm like,
they don't they don't seem to care one bit at all. And yeah, and then each one of them you can see is just like laid out and sprawled in their own like tiny boat, just like their legs just hanging over the water, like dangling into the water themselves. yeah, but you walk up. There's like this big old staircase, this like wooden staircase that goes up towards the what looks like the main level of the warehouse itself. You notice as you start to kind of go up the stairs, like off to your left and off to your right are two buildings. There's a door in a smaller building off to your left, and then it's not very large at all. Single story, like looks like it has a couple windows that look out over the docks, like where the boats are, but doesn't look like there's a whole lot of. There's like a little bit of a flickering of a little bit of light kind of coming out of the door, out of like the shutters themselves, but the door itself is closed. Like off to the right, you can see that there is a massive building that's gotta be like 2.5 stories tall. Like it definitely looks like it's 25 feet tall in some places. There's these kind of slanted roofs here and there. You can see that kind of high up, a good like 15 feet up, there are these little windows like that are cut into the wall, but they're not very big. They're not like swing doors. It looks more like just for ventilation or something like that.
I mean, we'd likely try and head toward we would know that they're coming through the entrance, right?
Yeah, I mean, you talked and you had a plan.
I'll turn toward Charles and Big Choppa and say, like, are we going to be meeting up with them? Because I think I know which way we have to go if we need to meet up with them versus if we want to just go to get the barrels.
Sounds like a splendid idea.
Oh my god. It's a yes. Just said yes.
You're sober by now. That was like, you haven't had a drink in
Multiple
like
choice
I am
question.
okay.
Yes.
I am okay with him answering yes to the multiple choice question.
I look at Justin's character and I'm like, I don't know what that means, but what do you think, Bramble? You think we should just get the barrels? It seems like what we're here to do.
But did we tell them we would meet up with them? I can't remember what we decided.
Well,
I can't remember either.
I think the plan was like, according to Reed, was like half of you were going to, like, you were going to take like half of it on the boat, and then put more on the wagon so that you didn't have to do 2 trips. Let's go and try and
get to the warehouse then, the Amazon fulfillment center.
So the whole compound, okay, is theirs. Okay, so it's like the whole compound itself. The company kind of owns this, and so it's just the question of like which building do you want to go in. So as you come up the steps, like you can see that there are quite a few. Like out to, I'll go ahead and reveal a little bit because there's a little bit of light.
Thanks for the sub.
Oh, thanks, Fawn. All right, so you can see that as you're kind of looking out at the distance, you can see bits of light. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. Like you can see from where you're standing, there are like a couple different options. Like you've got this big building off to the north. You've got this sort of smaller single-story building straight ahead. You've got a very small building off to the south of you, and further ahead you can see another very large, like 2-story building. And then just on the edge, like you can kind of only see the contours in the night sky. Like there's another fairly large 2-story building, like off on the northwest side of the actual compound itself. So like there's a couple different options on where you could potentially go. So boat crew, which one of these buildings are you moving towards?
Can we peek through the window to the south here? See what's going on in there?
That's a door to your south. To the south, there's an actual door. When you go up to it, roll an eavesdrop test.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to do too, is just kind of put an ear to these things before we go barging in.
Go for it. You can roll an eavesdrop. After this water
Look at
spell,
that.
I'm not sure I have a keyboard either. Oh boy.
At least you didn't spill booze on it like Chuck did that one time.
Oh,
I had to use
Spacebar will never be the same.
Still
No,
sticky.
I had to use that keyboard and typing with it. I don't know how Chuck does it.
Just the space bar just stays down the whole time or something. Okay, you got a crit. So when you go up to this southern door, you listen in, and you can hear the sounds. Like as you're listening, you hear like this big belch, like, and you hear the clinking of like a glass or something, and you hear like this really out of tune like plucking of a guitar string or something, and then just like a single voice as he like that's really gruffly trying to sing some shitty song, and it's just not. It just sounds like it's a lonely man trying to sing.
Wonderwall.
Anyways, here's one.
Anyway, oh man, you got there just before me.
Were you listening somewhere to Big Choppa? There's the stuff to the north if you wanted to roll it eavesdrop over there. And then while he's doing that, the wagon crew, where are you headed?
I think we have to look for the biggest building. That's where they store all the stuff.
So of the three that you can see, the biggest building is like straight ahead on your left.
All right, we'll go up to it and scout it out.
Okay. So the three of you kind of head over. You can see that these two big double doors that are right out in front. They're pretty tall. They're definitely wide enough that they would take a wagon. And the doors themselves definitely would need to, like, someone would need to really pull them open. They look like the type of doors that would just stay open. It's not like the thing that's constantly being opened and closed all throughout the day. They're like these big old barn doors. You can also see that there's chains that have been looped through the handles.
Are there windows if we follow like around the building?
So if you start scouting around the building, you do notice like on the eastern side, like there are some windows that are like high up. They're not like on the first level. They seem like about 10 feet up in the air. They don't look like open closed windows. They just look like cuts in the walls themselves, almost like ventilation.
Is it chains with a lockpick or is it just wrapped up?
Yeah, there's a little padlock that's connecting the wrapped around chains.
All right. These barrels aren't going to move themselves, so I'll start lockpicking them.
Okay, roll a skullduggery.
Do lockpicks give anything, or you just need them to actually attempt it?
Just need him to attempt it. It's just you still have to roll a skullduggery. Oh God, are you all freaking singing Wonderwall in chat? Oh God,
It's Ashley's fault.
I didn't think it would have that effect on people.
Succeeded.
Okay, wow. So with a 7, do you
Is
have
that flip to
do you have a
fail?
skill rank?
No skill rank.
Oh, but
Oh.
skullduggery is flip to fail. So like, if you
Oh,
roll
it doesn't
0,
just flip to
it'd be a
7.
70,
Okay,
right?
never mind.
Yeah. So you messing around and you just can't seem to quite open it. When Ridley goes around like the southeast corner of the building, she sees like quite a ways up that there is a window up there. Roll a d6 for me, will you please, Ashley? Oh my gosh.
What did I get? Oh God.
So as you come around the corner and you're staring up at the window, you hear the sounds of voices as like two folks turn around the corner as they're walking, and like you can see they're sort of dressed up in some kind of like, you know, dock worker type outfit. They've got like belts on, these cudgels hanging down from them. They're just kind of walking around bullshitting with one another, and they see you kind of eyeing it, and they look down at you. They're like, "Oi, oi, who are you? Oi, who are you?" And they start to get nice and close at this point. What are you doing?
I'm gonna just like kind of like shake my head and be like, sorry, I had a bit of a headache. And I'll hold my hand out and be like, I'm Ridley. Nice to meet you.
And they're kind of like eyeing you suspiciously.
I'm a new wagon driver. I'm late today.
No wagon driver. I didn't hear nothing about no new hires. I heard my cousin Henry had his heart set on a job here, and they said no new hires until after winter, and you just got hired. Who did you speak to? Who did you speak to? And they're getting like even closer now at this point. So like right up on you.
Do we hear this? Or is this happening
Yeah,
at
the two
same
of you
time?
would hear like Martina and Reed. You would hear this around the corner. They haven't seen the two of you yet because you're not around the corner.
Yeah, and Ridley's trying to like not have them like catch y'all.
I'll loop around the other side. Maybe try to get around.
Okay.
Can I like lie?
Yes. Yes. What do you want to say? And then you could roll a guile test.
Everything is, oh god, it's gonna be so bad.
So-
I have like no peril, Jeff.
Why don't you roll? Well, if you have no peril, that'd be good. If you,
I mean,
you
I have
all the
peril. I have no skill ranks. I am ignore 3.
Go ahead and roll a guile test, and then based upon how you do, you can always roleplay it. Wait, where did you go? Well, oh, you're on top.
The other side. Yeah, I'm following him too.
Okay, all right, got it. Okay, so you failed.
Oh god.
Do you wanna re-roll that?
You know what? Why not? Because
Okay.
we're rolling
got a
up
pretty good
to my
chance.
death. Yeah, but I'm ignore 3.
Still.
Oh, and I rolled that wrong.
Okay. Yeah, you gave yourself plus 20 and still.
Yeah, I
failed.
didn't
It
fix
should be,
that.
It should
So
be
yeah,
49.
yeah.
Yeah, standard's
Oops.
fine. Okay.
Oh,
So
no.
they get up close to you and they're like, "Yeah, you look like no wagon driver to me." And
I am going to faint. Like I'm gonna just give up and like play dead and just face plant it to the ground. Just
okay. So
and then if they try and pick me up, just dead weight.
okay. Okay. So they start to just flank the two of you. So flank you. Martina and Reed, go ahead and roll stealth tests as you're trying to come around. All right.
That's
85
a big
on a
fat
59.
reroll for me.
All right. Oh, see, this is one of those things where if we kept going, I'd have all the misfortune in case you got into combat.
24.
Okay. So
That's a better reroll.
as yeah, that's much better. As you're coming around the corner, you can see that one of them, so like you're peeking around, and you can see that one of them. There's a guy and a lady. Like the guy is like reaching down and is like scooping up Ridley off the ground, who is playing dead or just going limp. And they're getting excessively frustrated, but at a certain point, he just sort of like picks her up and just throws her over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes. And it's just like sort of complaints like, "Oh, I'm not actually supposed to be here. I don't know who she is at all. Like this is absolutely ridiculous. Go get Dix, and we'll figure this out." And so
Raid.
they just start to kind of walk away from you at this point. Thanks, Diesel Shot, for the raid. And they just start to walk away from you. Now,
Of course they do.
as the what's it called? As this is all happening, you've got Charles and Lady B and Big Choppa. Like you all hear in the sort of the building below you, you hear like some guy trying to pluck this string and sing some stupid sea shanty, and he's drunk and old and he can't seem to get something out. You also can listen through the doors to the building to the north of you, like this giant building, like 2.5, 3 stories high, like, and that's just dead quiet. But when you pull around to the side, you can see that there's a small door on the right, but that when you go up to try to turn it, it does seem to be locked. But it's like it's a very small door. It's just like a normal door. What are you 3 doing?
Can anybody open this door?
I have a lockpick, but I don't have skullduggery. So
I have skullduggery. So do you want me to try to open that door then with your
I
lockpick?
don't-
Do you want to hand it over to me?
yeah,
All right,
Okay.
that
ahead.
seems fair, right?
Yeah, go ahead and roll it. This is routine. This will be pretty easy. Okay. Yeah, it's 30 seconds less. And you hear, like, you listen for a little click, jigger things around, and yeah, the door opens just fine.
Big Choppa the door, Papa. I say as I hand his lockpick back.
Okay. So the door. Okay, hang on. Ugh. Sorry. I'm trying to move that. So you go inside, or you peek inside, I should say. It looks to be like a little office. Like there's just like this small little office, there's like a desk that's got like an unlit lantern, a couple bookshelves and such. There's like looks like a lot of ledgers of like you would think it's some sort of some sort of like a warehouse inventory of some kind as you look inside.
Could I search the desk?
Yeah. So you go inside. I hate using like Roll20 now that I use the other one because it's just so okay. Just hate it. Okay, anyway, here we go. So Lady B, Big Choppa, you go inside. You're inside this small little office. You search through the desk. You rifle through it. You find what looks to be like just a lot of like ledger, inkwell, stuff like that. You find a couple different books and logs that's sort of tracking inventory for like what's called Warehouse B. And like all of like the headers of each page seem to reference Warehouse B. Big Choppa, when you step inside as well, and you kind of there's a to the north or to your left, there's like this open doorway that leads into what looks to be a much larger section of the warehouse. You just see like piles and piles of barrels just standing there, like literally 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stacks high of just barrels every which way.
Do these look like is the symbol of what we need is on them or anything? Like, is there anything identifying other than just we found some barrels, let's go look?
Yeah, you go inside and every single one of the barrels has like the stamp of like the NWC, like every single one of them as you're peering through like this first massive stack of barrels.
Well, it sounds like we found what we need. We just need to get him out of here now.
Okay. All right. So, Charles, you go inside. You see the same thing that they're looking at. Lady B, as you're going through, it looks like it's just listing all sorts of stock. Specifically, these seem to be referencing like lantern oil and such. It's also seeming to give like a separation of like how much of the oil is like kind of going to which location. So there's listings for a couple different towns, a couple different forts and cities and things, and where they're going and how much is going where. There's also like information about like kind of soap production and things like that too. Like there's much smaller quantities of just like soap production. And so when you kind of peek into the warehouse itself, you can see that there's just far more than you would imagine, especially considering like the time of year that it's like winter time and like most people would probably be like collecting these things. But you look around and it's just like literally hundreds. There's entire like lofts that are filled like 2.5 stories tall. Like there's sections underneath that are that like have tucked away, kind of roped off what look to be fairly older, like dust covered barrels that have been there for a really long time. You see that there's like newer things that are a little bit cleaner or that have like this recent like paint smell on them, like they just recently put the stamp on some of these barrels as you come in. But like literally as you walk around, there's just more in here than you probably have ever seen before. If you kind of go up to one, kind of shake it a little bit and slosh it around, you can hear like the liquid kind of moving about inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask to check to make sure that it was actually oil, but
Yeah.
sure. Okay.
So yeah, this seems to
This
be
is it.
the warehouse where they keep it.
Let's tote it out through the tiny office so as to not arouse a suspicion.
Let's go on a barrel roll, I say. Just push those things straight through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a d6, Friendon.
Five.
Okay. So as you're kind of coming up to the door with the you guys are kind of rolling out these barrels to the office itself, you can kind of hear voices outside to the office. And when you like peek out the door, you can see that there's these two workers. One of them has like Ridley slung over their shoulder, and she's just kind of slumped down. You can see skulking and sneaking up behind them, like just beyond them by what looks to be like a little lantern light. You can see Matina and Reed behind them. but they seem to be coming not so much in your direction, like they're coming right up to the building itself, but then they kind of bypass yours and they just walk past you. You can hear all of you, like, who can see or hear this, the door to this like small little office to the south opens up, and like Ridley is brought inside. And I think we'll stop there for tonight because it's like we're like about half an hour past, and we'll pick up where we are next week and see whether or not Ashley has to roll a new character.
Jeff likes to leave me in fun new places.
I mean,
Would you say he leaves you in fun new places?
I would actually.
You've been
You would
you've been
actually?
you've
Yeah.
been ridnapped. You've been ridnapped is what's happened.
so like
Jeff, could you leave
Update.
me alone?
update, the water is like 95% dried up. Like there's a couple spots here on my
I like the
mouth
use of
and stuff.
percentages to describe
Yeah.
the water saturation.
Like I can still
At this
feel
point.
some slight
Well,
dampness.
it is a D percentile game. Like he rolled a 70 on his water, and it all.
I'm
went-
gonna roll a D100 to assume how much of that actually got into the router.
Yeah.
Oh, only 15%. So Melissa, only
God, I hope
15%
not.
There
got
was
into
a
the
good
router.
10 minutes that I could not
There-
like see or hear anything.
That no, the
It's
water
nice.
is nowhere close to the router. The router's like
Oh, no.
way over there.
The two things happened in succession to each other.
No,
so
no.
The router
No.
sensed
Correlation
the
does
the
not
router sensed
necessarily imply
water.
On the
causation.
same internet
And it
as
tensed
you.
up.
Yeah, the router will remember this.
Tensed up.
I'm on the same internet as you, so I think that's bullshit. All right, so let's check out. Let's get out of here. Tomorrow night on this channel, you can catch Friendon and myself as we play some Bitter Harvest. You would possibly catch Jen, but she's ditching us tomorrow night as she's going and
Hey,
playing
I'm sorry.
on the Liching Hour. Was it?
The ditching hour, as
ditching
it's
hour.
been, as
Yeah.
it's been coined.
It's called Girls Night Out. We're doing Sexy Battle Wizards,
Of course.
which means we're gonna. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
I'm
what's gonna
excited
happen.
for that.
I don't know what's gonna happen. Thank you, Ashley.
Then Saturday nights you can catch you can catch Friendon, myself, and Jen. We're gonna be over on the Goodman Games channel as we're playing some Dungeon Crawl Classics. Sunday during the afternoon over on TT2KB, you can catch Chuck from the Defenders of Cobalt as he plays in their Zweihander game. Mondays, you can catch me and Melissa over on twitch.tv/the Lollygaggers, where we are playing Vesson with a few other friends. And then on Tuesday, you can catch Friendon, Jen, and myself over on Grim and Perilous Plays as we maybe finish our Alien game. I don't know. Maybe not.
Feeling optimistic about it. We'll either all die or we'll get out.
I feel like it's going to end one way or the other. I just don't see how it's. Yeah. We're all basically going to die. And so that's it. The last thing I'll say before we check out is to, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and get Dan Dies in the End. It's on your screen now. It's only 50 cents. This wonderful art by Friendon. Like, you can get this stuff here, this T-Rask, and like a billion other things inside that are worth way more than 50 cents, but for some reason it's still only 50 cents. So that's insane. You can get all this kind of stuff for only 50 cents. So go check
Because
that
I'm
out.
stalling. I won't stall forever.
Yeah. A little while longer. So thank you for everyone who hung out tonight and watched and sang Wonderwall in chat. And thank you for the
Thanks
raids.
for the raids.
Really do appreciate that. And come back next week and see what happens next. And that's it. So good night, everybody.
Right.